Hello, everybody. Welcome back. YouTube.com/Geek.Aloud. It's Monday night, 8 p.m.-ish, plus 26 odd hours. We're here with G.E.A. And we've got Steve, of course, on Discord. Steve, how you doing, buddy?
I'm doing very well. All good things come to those who wait, I believe they say.
Indeed they do. And we come bearing gifts. And they will take the form of course, we do game interrogation and deliberation first. Following that, we'll tackle the news. And then the big one for the evening, it's the standoff. It's our Game of the Year discussion. So keep your eyes peeled and be sure to sound off in the chat how you think we're doing. Because then, after the standoff, we will indeed be getting to that YouTube chat, and we'll go through your comments, read them out on air, have a discussion with you. But let's start this evening with game interrogation and deliberation for game 1. And it is, of course, oh, where is it? It should be the Halo campaign. What's happened? There it is, Halo campaign. I've been playing it. I'm about halfway through. Steve, have you checked it out, and where are you at?
Mate, as you know, I just finished the campaign getting ready for this stream tonight. So I wouldn't say I've rolled credits. I've literally rolled the last boss and got the achievements for finishing the game, but I'm yet to roll the final cutscenes. So all remains to be seen there. But, mate, I love my time with the Halo campaign. Just a few little nitpicks that I have that I'm sure they'll fix for the next one or the updates. But, mate, I absolutely love my time with the campaign of Halo.
It is phenomenal. The first question I've got for you, Steve, if you can see the footage, hopefully it's up there by now for you. I know you're on a bit of a delay. But at what point do you know, with respect to the main mission campaign, did you unlock the Scorpion drop-off?
The
okay. Forward operating bases.
I reckon, looking at your footage, probably about here, I reckon. I feel like I took out a couple of the boss guys, like the named enemies with this thing.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing here, man. What I was going to say was the Scorpion, when they introduce it, it's a game changer. It almost breaks combat entirely. I'm just taking over forward operating bases and eliminating key targets as though they're nothing. It's, 2 or 3 shots and game over.
It does make it easy. That being said, like using this thing on Heroic, I've played the game on Heroic the whole way through, and you do actually, they do actually destroy your tank pretty easily if you're not too careful about it. So on normal, I can see it probably being an absolute, it just destroys absolutely everything.
Yes, it really does.
It's got a way of doing that Heroic as well, but they can damage you, so you do have to be sort of strategic about where you place your tank and take over the bosses. But it does make it a little bit easier to take care of some of these bosses that would otherwise be pretty hard, I reckon.
It really does, Matt. Excuse me, you're not Matt. And that combined with, I don't know if you've been exploiting it as much as I have, but if you notice that if you just back off from combat enough, it'll always auto-save. So anytime my shield starts to get low,
yes.
I grapple out to do an auto-save, and then I grapple back into the action. And, I'm playing on normal. Maybe I should kick it up, but it's a fantastic game. I'm loving it. But the combination of the tank and the really generous quick save feature, just by backing off, sort of 30 meters from the enemy, it's a lot of fun. I'm having a great time with it. And as you said, mate, that grapple hook is phenomenal.
It's an absolute game changer with this one. Now, so the only gripe at the moment possibly is the fact, even just looking at your open world gameplay, which I absolutely love, is sort of towards the end of the campaign, you do go campaign mission, boss, etc. And you are sort of stuck indoors a little bit too long for my liking, especially with a lot of the indoors looking pretty similar and symmetrical there compared to other things. But I think that is to balance out the fact that you can spend as long as you like out in that open world as well. So I just think it's to find a little bit more balance possibly with their campaign mission structure towards the end. But it's just a small gripe and otherwise fantastic game. But I'm sure we'll talk about it later with Game of the Year, so we can probably move to our next game. That's just where we're both at with Halo at the moment.
Yes, I might just tack on to that point, Steve, that that is exactly where I've held up my progress. I believe I'm on mission 11 now, but I believe missions 9, 10, and 11 are all indoor missions. It's like, indoor missions back to back. And I just put the controller down at that point. It was just too much.
Yeah, they do sort of let you back out for a little bit for another outdoor mission as well towards the end, which is a really cool mission. But I'm like, I kind of almost wish there was a point where it's like, this is the point of no return. You're going to be playing campaign missions. There's no way you're going to be back at the open world till you finish the game. So there was a few things I probably wish I would have done and sort of upgraded Master Chief fully before I got to that final boss. So it made it a little bit easier. But other than that, I'm happy to sort of, now that I've finished it, to go back out in that open world and enjoy stuff that I haven't done yet. So
yeah, I think I've got about 5 missions left. I believe there's 16 and I'm on 11. I'm thoroughly enjoying it. And I'm not sure if we said this on air or not last week, but I just want to once again reiterate, they have taken the Ubisoft open world formula for the, on the surface levels, and they've just applied it better than Ubisoft ever have. It's phenomenal. The forward operation bases that you can take over, the propaganda towers that you can kill, the high value targets that you can take out to unlock new weapons, the prisoners you can free. There is so much to do in this open world. I could lose myself in it. I'd almost say just take out all the indoor missions. Just let me on the ring and, give me an infinite number of forward operating bases to take care of, and I'll spend months in this game.
Absolutely. It's almost like they sort of simplified it in a way as well. It's the fact that the combat's so much better. Like you can choose to perch on a thing and snipe or go in there guns blazing. But it's just those mechanics are just so good.
They are so tight. I love it. And I wonder, I haven't read this anywhere, chime in if you've heard it, man, but I wonder almost if they were two separate teams. Like one team was doing all the ring, like exterior stuff, and it almost really, to me, feels like a second team was doing all the inside missions.
It does kind of as well, yeah. Like the more you play it as well, like you get towards the end, they do a few cool things with indoor environments, which I won't spoil now, which I actually really liked the way they changed that up towards the end, because I was getting a little bit over some of those indoor interiors, but they actually do something quite good with sort of, I won't spoil it,
very
sort
good.
of bringing the outdoors indoors a little bit. So I did enjoy that, but there's so much scope they can sort of build on this Halo ring and world and stuff that I can't complain too much. And the campaign, the way the story sort of evolved as well. As I said, I'm yet to sort of roll those final cutscenes, but I'm really happy where the story's going as well.
Excellent, man. I'm loving the story as well. If they just trim up some of those interior missions, it is quite the game. And as you say, man, it's called Halo Infinite, and they have a beautiful formula here for the surface ring stuff. They could release, a new Halo ring every 6 months, and I would gladly go back and buy that DLC. This game,
absolutely,
just the open world game. It's phenomenal. Just a few quick clips I've got for everyone at home. Some of the funny stuff we've seen. The first one here is a little encounter I had with this guy, and he drops a grenade behind him and then launches himself into the ceiling there and gets stuck. And then if you shoot him a little bit, he turns into a ceiling fan. This was my favorite moment of glitch play so far. And then, Steve, a small clip from you, mate. The perfect drop midair headshot of a grunt. I'm just going to let this loop a few times, but this is a 1 in a million shot. Do you think you could recreate this if we asked you to?
Right. Well, it's funny you should say that. I actually kind of recreated it just tonight with a skewer on a brute, I believe. So
oh wow!
I'm gonna have to say yes, I probably could, but this one came out of nowhere, and obviously it surprised me enough that I had to actually record it because I thought it was pretty cool. Even though he's just a grunt, he was annoying me, shooting his green stuff at me. I'm like, no, we can't have that.
It's just one hell of a headshot. You're jumping, you're falling. He's a good 50 meters away, and just bang. Yeah. It's phenomenal. Great work, mate. And
thank you, sir.
The last clip we've got is now the full video is available on the channel, Spider Chief. But so before I finished the main mission before the Banshees get unlocked, and then I went exploring, and my challenge was to get into the locked area of the map. Little did I know, if I had just played the next story mission, that whole area opens up, and I didn't have to spend as much time trying to break their world as I did. But that was fun and games. All right, game number 2 this evening is we're continuing the series of me playing Call of Duty one mission at a time. So this is mission 4, I believe, isn't it? Yes. This is mission 4 of the campaign, and I got to say, Steve, it's the low point of this.
Because you were very high on this last week.
I am high on it, but here, let me tell you why, mate. This mission is all in cockpit. It's just a what do you call it? A dogfight. Okay. It's a dogfight mission, and
I've never really liked the Call of Duty in-vehicle sections, to be honest.
No, and I would say this is one of the worst. It's just, it controls poorly, and I'm playing it on normal difficulty, but it's ridiculously forgiving. It's, I really just could have done without this mission. It didn't really do anything to aid the narrative other than, I'll reiterate the point again, that it does show that grand scope of battle. Like there's scenes throughout this where there's just a phenomenal amount of ships in the water and planes in the sky, and the PS5 doesn't miss a beat. It just looks beautiful. Absolutely love the look of it, but the gameplay I could do without. Oh, the other thing I'll note is that they're giving away constant free play weekends for the multiplayer of Call of Duty Vanguard. So if you don't want to part with the money, but you want to check out the multiplayer, keep your eye on the PlayStation Store, because I think it's last 2, maybe 3 weekends in a row they've given free access. So if you want to get into the Call of Duty multiplayer, it's there. And
Troy, as good as that sounds, why do you think they're doing that?
I think the sales must be really soft on this year's title, because typically we have to wait till post-Easter the following year, sort of a good 4 or 5 months before we get the free play weekends. But they've turned it on, within a month of launch? Not even.
They have. I've heard sales are pretty good for the game, but I reckon they are definitely down on last year, given the fact that Halo is doing so well.
Yeah, it's the Halo factor.
I was going to say they're competing with Battlefield, but I'm not sure how well Battlefield's doing either, but I just think it's mainly the Halo factor.
Those wait times in Battlefield are not improving, Steve. I don't think the sales have gone up any.
Mate, we're getting old enough as it is. We don't need to waste time in waiting to play a game of Battlefield.
No, we don't. And sorry, I'm just going to let this footage run for 1 second just so you can see the ships here as we take off. The whole level looks beautiful. As I said, runs at 4K 60. Just looks fantastic. It's a visual treat. I just didn't enjoy controlling the vehicle. All right, now, we've got to slightly set up the next one, because we are going to a pre-recorded segment for Game 3. Steve, we did another tourist, mate, and you were...
we did.
You were in the studio, and we have... Well, I'm just going to throw to the videotape. Let's go to us, a few days ago.
Troy, we're going to play the game or what?
No, Mr. Donkey. I expect you to die.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. YouTube.com/GeekAloud. We are doing a tourist again today. This one with thanks to Shell Games for providing the code. Steve, I hope you're feeling in a Bondy mood, because I expect you to die too. I Expect You to Die 2 is a VR survival puzzle game developed by Shell Games on the PlayStation 4 and also available on the Meta Quest and Windows. This game retails for $37.95 Australian. You may have guessed this game leans heavily on the James Bond themes of action and adventure, which obviously appeals to us, and Shell Games claim that this VR campaign offers hours of gameplay to solve the puzzles, as well as replayability through challenges and collectibles. So let's check it out. Let me do Don't Break That Lever.
Ready for Juniper's spotlight.
That doesn't matter at all. So I use my left hand to pull the canister out of the one that's in, and I use my right hand telekinesis to replace it with the other one.
Okay.
Hang on.
Oh, don't let him shoot that! That's a bad idea.
Oh, did he get me?
I think he shot you. It's such a good game. Even if you don't want to get it yet, mate, add it to your wish list in Steam, or you can wish list it on PlayStation as well. So you're on the villain's plane, he knows you're there, and you're at his mercy.
Okay, all right.
So there's a lot of traps for you, Steve. Smoking is hazardous to your health, see?
Signal lost.
Oh, yes. All right, Steve. Now, you've been hands-on. You were expected to die twice, of course. Did you enjoy it? Were there some nice surprises for you?
Mate, there were some very good surprises. I can let you know I didn't expect a laser going straight through my forehead at one point. Oh, no, what is... Oh, that was close.
Oh, yeah.
Jeez. Oh, what's happening?
You're...
On top of that, the lightning's the thing that got me the most.
Oh, yeah, the environmental effects in this game are phenomenal.
The sound effects great. Yeah, just to bring you into the experience. Yeah,
and the music. How good's the music?
You may as well be playing James Bond.
You may as well be. And if you haven't seen that opener yourself in VR, that whole opener is a 3D experience. You can just sit there, look around, the objects flying. It's like you're in the middle of a James Bond opener.
Beautiful. Absolutely beautiful.
Such a good game. A lot of fun. A lot of replayability. I don't know. I put in maybe 4 or 5 hours into just memorizing those first 2 levels.
That's pretty good, because I reckon without you, that probably would have taken me 4 hours to finish that first level.
I can easily see me dropping 15 to 20 hours in this game, especially the replayability, going back, getting all those trophies, the collectibles. Great game. I absolutely love it. And I can't wait for I Expect You to Die 3. Congratulating you on a job well done.
We got through it. Oh, shit.
Had some champagne. You've earned it. All right, Steve, that was awesome. Thank you again to Shell Games for providing that code, mate. Did you have a blast?
Mate, I had a blast, and thank you for taking me through it.
My pleasure. It is a tour guide's job, you see. I always have
you,
to.
I couldn't have done it.
Perfect. One of these days, Steve, we're going to have to pick a game that you know, and I can be the tourist.
Done.
Yes. Keep your eyes on the channel, guys. There'll be more tourist action coming up your way. If you're a developer out there and want to send us a key, feel free. Maybe we'll do yours. Thanks for watching, guys. Back to us in the studio in real time. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We are now live. I hope you enjoyed The Tourist. I Expect You to Die too. That clip itself will be going live directly after this stream. If you want to see it again, it will be available cut out for your viewing pleasure. But now, Steve, we're looking at Game 4, The Gunk. This was, we briefly discussed it last week. It just released this week, and it came to Game Pass, mate. You checked it out?
I did check it out, man. I gave it I want to say an hour and a half-ish. Like, it's not bad. Like, it's a cute little platformer. Like, the graphics are okay. It's a bit of an indie title sort of looking thing. It's not too bad. I don't know if it's hitting 4K because it wasn't too crisp on my brand new TV.
It didn't look 4K to me.
No. But no, it's a cute game. Like, it's a little. You probably have to be in the mood for it. I was a little bit bored by it. Like, because just the mechanics of it, you essentially are just sucking up the gunk itself in the level and doing some light platforming and stuff, which I think even you, Troy, could probably hack the platforming in this. It's nothing too strenuous.
Watch closely, mate. There's a few times I miss.
Like, I did upgrade my character a little bit and like upgraded so I actually make her sprint, which was nice. I found it weird that you couldn't just sprint to begin with, and it's an upgradable power that you get that apparently it's for the glove that makes her sprint. Made no real sense, but anyway.
Oh, did you pay attention in the cutscene, man? I thought it was a glove as well, but that's actually a prosthetic hand. At one point, she takes it off.
Oh no, she does take it off. You're right, she does take it off. So it's a glove-thetic hand. Yeah, that'll work.
That works for me.
Yeah, that works. So like, I did some platforming, found some like hidden materials. So it's got kind of like you gather materials to upgrade your stuff, kind of thing, about like a survival sort of game, but it's more a platformer thing. Like, yeah, it's cute. Like, if you've got time, which none of us really do at this time, to play something like this, if you want to play a game, the problem is that like stuff like Ratchet and Psychonauts 2 came out this year, and they are much better games in this genre. Granted, it is Game Pass. You're not forking out any cash to play it. So, you know, if you think it might be up your alley, give it a crack. You know, it's not half bad. I'll probably give it you know, around your 6 out of 10 kind of score.
I hear what you're saying, man. I started thinking 6 out of 10 myself when I started playing, and honestly, I turned it on with the intent of only playing 10 minutes to capture the footage for this. But I'll be honest, this game sucked me in. I played it for an hour and a half.
Yeah, that's exactly what happened with me. Like, I did play it longer than I probably thought I was going to as well. Just when I thought I was going to turn it off, I kept going as well. So
honestly, though, if I had only played it for 10 minutes, we probably would have been on air a bit earlier this evening.
But it's okay. That's all right.
The one thing I will say to anybody watching this footage at home and who's played Luigi's Mansion 3, if you enjoyed the vacuuming, and I really enjoyed the vacuuming in Luigi's Mansion 3, this game nails that vacuum feel. And so it's a little bit sad, but I think I'm going to go back and finish this game.
Nice. And have you upgraded your vacuum to do it faster yet?
Yeah. I didn't go back. She kept trying to call me back, your partner, to the base, and I just kept moving forward to collect resources. So I sort of went back at the end of the hour and a half and popped like 4 upgrades at once. And so
that's exactly what I did.
I've unlocked it, but I didn't ever get to use it. So, but I really want to go back to this game and finish it off. So for me, honestly, it's probably sitting at more like a 7.5 now. It's
okay.
As you said, it's Game Pass, so the barrier to entry if you're already a subscriber is almost nothing. If you've played Luigi's Mansion, check it out. I think you'll enjoy it. It's a great game. Also, good for kids. Oh, the only other thing I wanted to ask, Steve, if you noticed, or if it stuck out to you as it did to me, there's, in my opinion, too vast a difference between the way the characters speak to each other on comms, and then as you're constantly scanning things and filling out, you know, your wiki or whatever, it's like ultra scientific and specific written word, but then they speak ridiculously casually. Those two didn't meld for me. I don't know. They need to either make the entries more goofy or sort of ground a little bit more the VO, just to make it feel like a cohesive whole. It's just
I'm with
little
you there. I'm with you
disjointed.
there. Just a few little things. You can tell it's an indie title. Let's just say that.
Yeah, and the only other thing I will say that's working against this game is playing Kenna as an indie title earlier this year.
I was going to make that exact same comparison. It's like you've got Kenna that just is ridiculously gorgeous and hits game of the year conversations and stuff, and then you've got this, which is coming out sort of around the time of the year where there's not much else out, which is probably good for it. But
yes.
Everyone's kind of, all those discussions have already happened. So, but if you want a cute little platformer, this is, it might whet your appetite.
And good for kids as well. There's no multiplayer, I don't believe, but I think it's very child friendly. There's no, gore or anything too crazy.
That's right.
Yes. So, finally, I've just got one clip from here, and I was doing my typical, incredibly slow, non-direct way of playing video games, and the game called me out. This is the first game ever that's called me out on not focusing. So here we go.
This looks interesting. Check the data for me, please. What's up with your attention span? Aren't you gonna clean up some gunk?
So that's it. They knew I wasn't focused, and they called me on it. That wasn't good. All right, what's next, Steve? I think it's the news, is it not?
It is. We're going to the news now.
We're up to the news. If I hit this button here, boom. Oh, you know what? I forgot the whole thing, but that doesn't matter. We'll go with it. All right, news story one. Ubisoft announces a Splinter Cell remake. Call me excited. I love it.
Right, very excited. Probably the worst kept secret going around in gaming at the moment. This thing's been rumored for ages. There's still not a lot of news on it, but the fact that they've had to come out and say, I think they probably want to get ahead of the game. There's all these rumors like, yep, we are working on one. It's, apparently going to be a remake of the first one and all that jazz, which probably makes a lot of Splinter Cell fans happy.
Yeah, did you hear the defense for that? I really like the defense that the game director put forward. He said the gameplay mechanics were just too dated. If they had done a straight modernization visually, but left the gameplay, he said gamers would not forgive them for it, which I hadn't considered, but when he said it, I'm like, that makes a lot of sense. Yeah, okay, give me a remake.
Absolutely. So I could see them going for like a, wide open, like it's wide linear, what they call it, like how Uncharted 4 sort of, and some of the Uncharted games and Last of Us Part 2 sort of did that wide linear sort of levels where you might sort of break out and do some stealth stuff in a bigger open world sort of section.
Maybe run out on a Halo ring.
Yeah, maybe potentially something like that. Yeah, there's always a chance that, Mr. Splinter Cell, what's his name? Sam Fisher.
Michael Ironside.
Yeah, that's right. And I think they're using the Snowdrop engine from Division 2, which is a very nice looking engine if you've gone back and played Division 2 recently.
Oh, yes, that does come up a treat. Sorry, mate, go. Oh, okay, well, what I was going to say was, do you think maybe, my hope, I've read nothing, but my hope is they might give us a bit of the old Hitman 3 treatment, and I wonder whether they're going to start slotting some of the other games just into this framework as DLC, like in 6 months. I think that could be really cool if they just, remake the sort of the 3 main original games. That could be awesome.
Oh, that'd be nice. You get like Pandora's Tomorrow and stuff like that as well. And speaking of Pandora, I believe this is actually running on, I think it's the engine which they run. I think the new Avatar game, I think, is running on the Pandora. Frontiers of Pandora game is running on the same engine as well. So they've got their hands full at the moment. Ubisoft, they're doing a lot of things, a lot of games in development. Which sucks, because I've heard other stories where, people are leaving Ubisoft at the moment by the droves. So that's not good.
It is. And sorry, I've just scrolled down here. It's the first time I've laid eyes on it. But in this article, it also says a Splinter Cell VR game is in development. That's awesome.
Ooh, that is awesome. I've been enjoying my VR stuff recently, as you've just seen from our time in the studio, and obviously Resident Evil 4 earlier this year, and G.E.A. San Andreas coming to VR as well, which I'm looking forward to. So a Splinter Cell thing could be very interesting, especially pulling the goggles over your head in a bit.
Yes. Oh, I didn't even think of that. That is so cool. I would love that. So, Splinter Cell, sign me up. Yes, please.
That's it. We'll probably see something, maybe E3 next year, or maybe just a teaser if we're lucky.
Oh, yes. It'll just be the logo. Just the logo and the beep sound.
That's it. Yep. That's
all right. Yeah. Story 2, Halo Infinite co-op campaign is now playable with a glitch. What is the glitch, hilarious, Steve? What is it? Tell me
I've looked into it. Apparently anyone can do it. It's something about like connecting a second controller while you're coming into Halo, and something you can somehow glitch it out that you've got a split screen co-op experience, but I don't think there's a HUD or anything for the second player. They're just there.
Check it out. If you're looking at the stream, there it is. There's the screen in split screen mode.
Yeah, so I mean, obviously, co-op, they probably wanted it on launch, and there's a reason why Halo is built the way it is. Obviously, when you hit your map menu and stuff, the game actually doesn't pause, and that's obviously because if you're playing with other people,
crazy.
Yeah, so that obviously is in there because they obviously wanted co-op and it's built for co-op. So the fact that you obviously can't, you can't pause the game like that is for a very good reason. That's because you normally would have someone else playing with you. So yeah, the fact that the glitch does exist, I probably wouldn't recommend anyone trying it just in case. But people have gone out there and done it for us, so you can check them out on YouTube if you like.
Now that I know it's a thing, I'm going to try and play this tomorrow in split screen mode just to see it for myself.
I love it. So here's the steps 1 to 7. So number 1, Infinite must be offline. 2, connect the second controller. 3, sign into an Xbox account. 4, start campaign with controller 1. 5, in-game, hit start and then back. 6, on second controller, hit start to add the second player to the fire team. 7, Halo, Infinite, co-op, enabled.
That is phenomenally cool. Do you want to give me a guess, Steve? How long until this gets patched back out?
Not long.
Hot fix tomorrow morning, are you expecting?
All of that being said, like if people want to do it, I don't think it really is too much detriment to like the actual game itself, because it's, if anything, it's a detriment to the people playing the game. Like they're going to jump through all these hoops just to do this to get nothing really out of it. So realistically, they could probably just leave it in there, I suppose. Like I don't see what disadvantage it gives the game, essentially.
None. And now that I've put my conspiracy theorist hat on, what's the chance that they leaked it themselves just to get back in the news cycle?
Potential. I mean, I know they're going to stay pretty relevant like the next couple of months with updates and stuff like that. So this could just be another story that, Halo's still in the conversation. We're still here. We're still coming up to Christmas. The game has launched. We've had all this positive feedback. But let's just chuck this in there. Just let people know that we're still around.
Remember, kids, add Xbox to your Christmas list, not PlayStation.
That's right. So, no, just a funny story just to get us going.
Beautiful. I'm excited. I'm going to check it out tomorrow. All right, story 3. The next Mass Effect runs on Unreal Engine 5. It appears. They don't sound too confident.
No, there's just sort of been a bit of word sort of murmuring around. There was like a tweet or something that went out about BioWare is hiring talent. Yeah, BioWare is hiring talented programmers with Unreal Engine 4/5 experience. Come join our team and work with us on the next Mass Effect game, says Brennan Holmes. So, I mean, they probably are using Unreal Engine 5.
Do we know, or do you know offhand, I've got no idea, what engine the Legendary Edition was done on?
I'm not sure. It was a different engine surely than the first one. Was it Unreal 3?
I think back in the day Mass Effect 3 was on Unreal 3, but I would think, and I don't know, but I would expect that Legendary Edition that came out earlier this year would have been UT4, surely.
Had to have been, surely. So, I mean, that was a very good-looking update to that game as well. So the fact they're sort of hopefully building the next one up on Unreal Engine 5, and given the fact we just saw that Matrix experience sort of last week, if it looks anything close to that, we're in for a bloody good game and a lot of hard drive space we're going to require for that game to be on our consoles.
Let's just hope they actually write a decent script for it.
Oh, let's hope so, mate.
What can I say? I still haven't gotten over my hurt feelings from Andromeda.
Oh, neither have I, mate. I've even gone back to play that game. The gameplay in that game is actually quite serviceable and fun. It's the story that ties it all together.
The story.
I know. Mass Effect's all about the story, and just hopefully they can blend the good stories from the first trilogy to the gameplay of Andromeda, and hopefully they can get something good, and hopefully we can all forget about Anthem.
Yes, indeed. Fingers crossed. What's the chance that the pre-order bonus for the new Mass Effect will be a free copy of Anthem?
It probably will be, even though the game is dead, deader than doornails, I think you would call it.
Indeed it is. Has anyone heard from Anthem recently? The next story is Endwalker, Final Fantasy XIV, which is the online MMO. Endwalker is the new, what do you call it? DLC, expansion, campaign, hooey.
Yep.
It's so popular, Square Enix had to stop selling Final Fantasy XIV, but I had purchased and got into it, I believe, back in 2015 when it first launched.
Wow, is that how long ago it came out?
Yeah, I don't know if you remember, man. It came out, it was out for a few months, and they pulled the whole thing down, redesigned it, then relaunched it, and it was a lot better then, but I never even saw the relaunched version. But because I already had a character and an account, even though it was 6 years old, I was actually able to re-up my subscription and get back in, and I can confirm for you those wait times for me, 2 hours and 23 minutes.
Ooh,
Just sitting there burning into your LCD, just a static character screen. It's terrifying.
Wow, that's, Battlefield's not so bad all of a sudden.
Yes, Battlefield's looking good by comparison.
But no, I just thought this was crazy story. The fact that this game is doing so well that they had to stop selling it. Like, I don't think I've heard anything like this ever.
No, the closest thing that jumps to mind would be Cyberpunk.
Well, yeah, they stopped selling that for a completely different reason, but it was ruining the brand. And anyway, we talk positively about Cyberpunk, so I'm not going to,
I love Cyberpunk. I love Cyberpunk, but
so I mean, this is just like a crazy story about, what a redemption story. This is up there with No Man's Sky in terms of redemption story. Surely it's even surpassed it at this point.
I got to say, man, there are so many people in the world now. Like, as I said, I checked it out 6 years ago. It was very barren back then. But jumping in there now, you run through the cities. It's, people everywhere. It's a living world. And once again, if you ever got back into World of Warcraft back in the day, playing this today, like, it just took me straight back there. It's the standard MMO controls. Absolutely fantastic. If you enjoyed it before, you're going to enjoy it even more now. But the catch is you have to already have a character on one of the servers. They've got, I think 8 servers up in each of the 3 regions. And each server has, I think, 6 instances on it. And you can't create a new character on any of them. You can only log into a pre-existing character. I've never seen anything like this. This is wild.
Wow. And apparently they've suspended actual advertising for the game as well. So, they've gone to all measures to make sure this game is not selling any further at the moment. So
and it's
being so popular, but
and it's reviewing really well. Everyone loves the new expansion. It's such a bizarre problem that they find themselves facing. It's crazy.
Oh, absolutely. It's probably the best problem you could possibly have, I suppose. So, we'll congratulate them for that, really.
Indeed. I'm enjoying my time back in it, but I'm trying to platinum Hitman 3 before the end of the year, so I won't be able to delve fully into it. Speaking of Hitman 3, I don't know if you saw this one today, Steve, but one of the developers shared the PC VR footage with the motion controls. And I don't know if you played it on the PS4, man, but it was just the DualShock 4 that you could have, not the wands. Yep. So it was really weird to like reach out and grab things in the world. Your hands are like handcuffed together almost. It's really cumbersome to play on there. So fantastic to hear that the PC port is going to have motion controls. I'm stoked for that. And I'll remind anybody that on the Epic Game Store right now, the PC version is heavily discounted. So if you buy it now with the discount, I think it's Q1 next year. Is it Q1 or Q2? The PC VR gets enabled. So I'd suggest if you're going to get into it, buy it now while it's on special, and then they'll just patch it in later. Save yourself a few months.
I know we said that I was going to take you through probably a game soon in the Tourist, but I think this is potentially another one you might have to take me through.
Oh, I will happily do it, Steve. I'm such a Hitman 3 fan. You know it, buddy.
All right, done. Fine. Lock me in for a Tourist.
Yes, another Tourist. I love it. But if you're into Hitman 3 VR, definitely check that footage out. I cannot wait. It can't come soon enough. And that brings us to the new releases coming out this week as we find ourselves right up against Christmas, the end of the year. We have a total of 2 this week. The first one, Among Us, what's that, Crewmate Edition, PlayStation 5, Xbox X and S, PS4, Xbox One, and Switch. Basically, it's coming out everywhere. It says December 21, which is today, Steve, but I am sure, didn't we both install Among Us through Game Pass like a week ago?
It was through Game Pass. I'm not sure what this expansion is, whether this is part of Game Pass or not, or whether you actually have to pay for this. I haven't checked it up, but
I'm sure the Game Pass version is called the Crewmate Edition. So
okay. Oh, there you go. So maybe
it was early access in Game Pass. Maybe I'm not sure what happened.
But maybe, but it's obviously available now.
It's available in Game Pass, so if you're into it, check it out. And then, do you know how to pronounce this second title, Steve? Because I am not sure.
I'm going to go Lacuna.
Very good, Lacuna. PS4, Xbox One. Steve, can you tell us things?
I can tell you that it is a 2D story-based, I think, what's it called? Point-and-click adventure game.
Yes.
With a kind of pixel art aesthetic as well. Like, it doesn't look like my type of thing. I won't be playing it. But you know what? It's out December 21. So if you haven't got a Christmas present for anyone yet and they like that kind of aesthetic in a game, feel free Get him Lacuna.
And of course, this game list every week is sourced from the Game Informer website. Thank you, Game Informer. We love the work you do over there. And now, Steve, we're moving into the standoff. If I can find the standoff button. Oh, I think I've misplaced it. I really have. So just imagine it goes, who will fight?
Who will fight
this week?
I'll tell you who will fight a shitload of things.
And this week, as a special guest on the show to join us for the Game of the Year discussions, we have 4 categories. We want to give away 4 awards. But Agent Gaming Raptor has joined us from the Discord chat. He's a moderator there. Gaming Raptor, are you there with us, mate? How are things?
Hello. Things are pretty good. Pretty tired. It's 4 o'clock in the morning here.
Sorry, we did have a very delayed start today, mate. I apologise for that.
So, Gaming Raptor, sorry, before we start, what time is it where you are right now?
Right now, it's 3:59 a.m.
Oh, my God.
Perfect.
Let's get through this then, so Gaming Raptor can go to bed.
Perfect. I need to pull up a list here. Where's my list gone? All right. So, what we're doing first, the first standoff this week is the best looking game. The best looking game that came out this year. We are starting number 1. How could we not? Kenna, Bridge of Spirits. Phenomenal looking game. As we said before, indie title. I said last week it was a 12-man development team. I want to correct that statement. It was a 15-man development team. 15 people worked on it.
They had 3 more people, so, that's obviously how they managed to get it looking so good with those extra 3 people.
They did. This game is a phenomenally good-looking game. Steve, I know you've played it. Gaming Raptor, how about you, mate? Have you gone hands-on with Kenna?
No, in fact, I haven't played any games recently.
Oh,
my PlayStation doesn't exist.
That's okay. Have you watched any DreamWorks movies recently? Because Kenna, pretty much the closest thing you're going to get to playing one.
Oh yes.
I was going to say it kind of looks like a very good Disney movie.
Yes. Raya the First Dragon, I believe, is probably
good call.
Decent comparison.
Indeed, it is. Phenomenal looking game. As we discussed in an earlier standoff, I really dig the extra little touches they've done to the animations, whereby the double jump animation has like a little white explosion that comes off her feet, that if you're not looking directly at her, you can still get the visual cue that you've executed it correctly. So just little touches like that, they have absolutely nailed not just the general look of the game, but also the real fine details in giving players the feedback that, yes, your input's working correctly. As soon as you start pulling the bow or swinging the hammer, like the animation is flawlessly moves into it. The game just never misses a beat and looks beautiful the whole time. Big fan of the way it looks.
Big fan.
All right, then it is up against number 2, Forza Horizon 5, one of the best car racing games I've ever seen. Steve, how does it look on the 120 hertz monitor you got there?
Ooh, dude, this game looks absolutely incredible. There's a reason why, like a lot of the outlets out there are saying this is the best looking Xbox One / Series X game going around, because it's definitely up there. I've got this thing just absolutely cranking. I've watched it in 120 hertz. I've watched it in 60 hertz at 4K, which just looks absolutely ridiculous. Just the car models, everything about them, the scenery's wishing by, however fast you're going, 170 kilometres an hour down here in Australia, or however many miles that is in America. I got no idea, but we're on the metric system here, so let's go with that. Mate.
The other big call out, mate, is the way they change the world up when the seasons change. The 4 seasons have 4 very distinct looks to them. They reskin the whole world. It's great.
They really do, mate. They've done a great job with this one. So, Gaming Raptor, have you had a chance to check out Forza Horizon 5?
Yes, I have actually. I have it on the Xbox One S. It looks really impressive. I'm surprised it runs. It runs well on the Xbox One.
Yeah, they really have nailed it.
Yes, really well optimized for such a beautiful game.
Yeah, I would love to hear a deep dive from the developers of how they went and optimized it for each of the platforms, because I've got an Xbox One here inside that I've played on, and the Xbox Series X here in the studio, and it does scale beautifully. Like, neither console misses a beat. I can't imagine how many dev hours they put into getting that right everywhere, but it paid off beautifully.
It did. Moving on. What have we got next? Hey?
Halo Infinite is the next one up, and boy, does that game look good as well.
Oh, yes, it does. And it just looks like I've flicked between games because, like, there's another game coming up on this list straight after Halo, which is Far Cry 6. But I was playing Far Cry 6 before Halo came out, and I was thinking to myself, God, this game is pretty. I'm like, wonder how Halo can look as good as this in certain parts. And like certain parts of Far Cry 6, I have to admit, probably do look better than Halo just because of their aesthetic. And Halo is very similar sort of wherever you go. But the crispness and just the vistas and stuff of Halo just look absolutely incredible.
I agree completely, mate. And the comparison there, or the contrast I'll say, is the trees in Halo from a distance look better than Far Cry, but if you get up close to a tree in Far Cry, it looks far better than the Halo trees do up close.
Absolutely. And Far Cry does have dynamic weather and stuff, and it's something I think the Halo devs have come out and said they will be adding dynamic weather and stuff to Halo Infinite. But obviously Halo, it's got the time of day that changes, and different graphics and different times of day can look better than other times of day. But Far Cry does have those dynamic weather systems that come in the rain and stuff, which does have it over Infinite. But I mean, Halo Infinite, like every time I put this thing on, I've been playing other games, I'll switch back to this, and I'm just constantly surprised at how crisp and smooth everything runs. Like Microsoft's definitely put their money into the year they had off with Halo Infinite just to make this thing look absolutely glorious.
Definitely, it's amazing. It's a masterpiece. Steve, I wonder if they could tap Playground Games to get the Four Seasons environments happening on the surface.
Oh, mate, I reckon we'll start seeing snow biomes and stuff, I reckon, at some point when they start doing DLC, so we'll have to wait and see.
Exciting stuff. I can't wait. All right, next up is Far Cry 6, and that was a great-looking game. Whoa, I had fun with my 60-odd hours with it. Steve, I believe you put about 50 into it, if I'm correct?
Yeah, I'm probably up to. I still haven't finished the game, but as I said, mate, this was my holiday that I took without going on a holiday because of COVID. So just being able to rock around those tropical islands, there was moments I just literally sat there and like pinned a bit on the map just to make sure I went back there because it was just tropical. I just wanted to stand there and watch the sunlight bathe in these palm trees and rivers and stuff like that. Like a very, very pretty game. And again, on this brand new TV, mate, it looks absolutely phenomenal. Mate, if there's one award this could win, it's potentially Far Cry 6, but there are a lot of pretty games on this list.
That's very true. Mate, does Far Cry 6 support the 120 hertz mode?
I don't think so. I haven't checked it, but I don't think it does. I think it just does its 4K 60. Gaming Raptor, have you played Halo Far Cry 6? Any words on there? How they look?
Sorry, Gaming Raptor. Did I skip you on Halo, mate? My apologies.
That's all right. For Halo Infinite, I've played it. I haven't gone that far in it. I beat like the third boss.
Yep.
But in Halo Infinite, the graphics on the Xbox One S, they look all right. You know, like the ground textures, they look but like the skybox is what impressed me the most. Like you can see like the other half of the Halo ring, and then just how beautiful the the star system looks.
Yeah.
And the guns all look cool. The enemy designs look cool. It's a very beautiful game.
And the lighting effects, mate, off the guns when they fire. Some of those alien weapons with what are they? Kinetic weapons, I think they call them. Some of those when they fire really look nice.
Oh, and he's not on the head with the skybox as well, mate. I think Halo's known for a skybox. It's the first time you've ever played that Halo and landed on that ring and saw that ring and the space and stuff. They've absolutely nailed that feel. And just like, I am like a sucker for a skybox. So don't be surprised if this wins best looking for me. But we've got a few more games on the list, so we'll have to wait and see how that goes.
Do indeed. Next. Oh, sorry. Did you play Far Cry Gaming Raptor? Have you looked at Far Cry 6, mate?
So yeah, I did. I bought it day one back in October.
Yep.
My PlayStation was starting to act up during that time. But from what I played, it looked incredible. Like it was just like the when it rains, you know, and it looked very beautiful. It's a very good looking game.
The water effects, mate. I don't know if you spent any time fishing, but if you just want to stop in a spot in a game and look at the water, Far Cry 6 have nailed that water effect.
They do, and just with the rain and stuff, as you said, with the storms coming, it just creates a nice mood and atmosphere in that game as well that I think they've just really nailed as well. So it's easily the best looking Far Cry game they've made to date, and just I think the graphics sort of bring you into that game more so than the other ones as well. So, props to the guys at Ubisoft for the world they've created with Far Cry 6.
Definitely. And sorry, I'm just going to quickly circle back to Halo and say the other thing I love about the Halo ring is the way they go from like mechanical section of the ring to mountain area to treed areas, and they put them all sort of right next to each other. So you're constantly seeing this contrast of structure types. It looks fantastic by putting them next to each other. They offer that constant visual contrast, and it really just shows off how good their tech is.
I'll second that.
And then we have, of course, Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart, PlayStation 5 exclusive. Very enjoyable game and great looking.
Very, very good looking. We talked about Kena looking like a DreamWorks movie. This thing looks like a Pixar movie just on steroids, and the fact that you're playing it makes it even more ridiculous. And the stuff you're doing in this game, and it's running flawlessly as well. And the different worlds you go to, like biomes, whatever you want to call them.
It's
every single one of it.
2021, Steve, you've got to call it a biome.
Got to call it a biome, mate. It's like every single world, like it's just jaw dropping, just how gorgeous it looks, and the fact that it runs as well as it does, like, and the things you're doing within these worlds, mate. This game's just so pretty. The particle effects from each gun that you're using as well, like and the enemies and the what's it called, the what are you collecting? Not the coins,
the bolts?
Well, they can be coins. The bolts. That's the thing. Like the fact they just you spew out and they're like, oh mate, so it's just crazy what they're doing with particle effects and graphics in this game. Like it's on another level.
It is. It does look phenomenal, and we should sort of note, I guess, contrast it to Far Cry 6 and Halo, where those games look great, but they are really just the one sort of environment, whereas Ratchet and Clank do, 8 different worlds that all truly look unique. Like it's a much wider visual palette on display in Ratchet and Clank, and they've nailed all of them.
That's right. You use my word right there. Like just the color palette and stuff in Ratchet and stuff. Every single level just changes it up and keeps it fresh, and it doesn't stop until you get to the very end. And it's just incredible to see. Like that game's just something special. I don't think it got enough, plaudits at Game of the Year awards and stuff because it came out maybe too early or something.
Possibly.
Like it is easily one of the best looking games that came out this year, and one of the most fun. I platinumed it this year, and one of the reasons I platinumed it is because I just wanted to stay in that beautiful world. So
it is great, and those worlds all looking unique really do give it that replay value. You do want to go back and check them out. Like when you experience a new world, you're like, oh, let me check out that last world again. How did it look?
Absolutely,
great stuff by Ratchet and Clank. Next up, we have Deathloop. Deathloop. That's right. Deathloop. The one good thing we'll say about it looks great.
It does look great. That's one thing about it.
When you get past the menus, the 12 menu screens, when you're in the game, it looks great.
It does. I mean, Game Director, have you played Deathloop?
No. No, I haven't played it yet. I've seen a lot of videos on it. I like the whole 60s art style it has.
Yeah, they nail that look.
I might play it when I get my PC, but I'm not really sure.
That's fair enough. I mean, they nailed the Bond look almost as well as Troy and I did. So
we could give them a few pointers, I think, Steve.
A few pointers, but no, it was a very pretty game. Like even going back to it now, it does look really good, and the style of that game is really good, and the level design's like quite cool, and all that kind of stuff. And the fact that it does. Well, I mean, the different levels do change with the time of day and stuff as well. So I've gone to quite a few levels with that, but it is visually appealing. I think it's nice that I do like, which makes me want to be in that game. As well, just unfortunately, a lot of the other mechanics in that game sort of don't want me to play it. It's just, but being in that world is enjoyable. So that's, I mean, I'll give them that plaudit anyway.
Yeah. And my favorite bit of their visual treatment is the, I can't remember the name of it, but the collectibles, those items have like that sort of purple sort of pearl shimmer to it. That looks phenomenal and really captures your eye. You can be, a good 200 meters away from something and you'll just see that sort of purple hue and go, collectible, and run straight for it. So they nailed that visual communication on that element. It was perfect.
They did. But moving on to Deathloop 2, another ridiculously good game.
What, Returnal?
Oh, Returnal. What a pretty game. I still remember the day that I was in the studio, because I reckon I was in the studio the day this game came out.
You were, Steve. You were.
And I had
like
it installing at home, but played it for the first time on your TV then. And I was just blown away by the visuals straight away and how smooth that thing was, just running through it, and just the particle effects coming off the guns and the enemies, and just the way the world looked, and just it kind of just felt like a big warm hug. It's just like, get in here and play me like this game. And that was before we sort of hit the other biomes and got the first biome.
Yeah.
Like,
you mean the one I
other...
spent over 24 hours in?
Yeah, that's right. I mean, I was in Biome 3 for a long time and almost quit the game because of Biome 3. But it looked good, so I wanted to keep going. But the biomes beyond that, just so they did your traditional sort of, lava-y jungle, snow. But the fact that it was, procedurally generated and stuff, and each time you go through those levels is actually different. It's just a phenomenal looking game, and just we'll speak to it later. But in terms of the way the graphics sort of complement everything else as well, I just think was an amazing achievement by the guys at Housemarque Studios.
The other big shout out I'd like to give them is the cutscenes were all visually just stunning. They just nailed their art style in both the cutscenes and the world. It was perfect. Absolutely
did. And the blend with the first person mode, it flicks in just for that extra bit as well.
Yes.
For that, like, it just came out of nowhere to flick from the third person, that first person, like, horror-y kind of, what was that game that came out? Well, not game. It was not the Silent Hills trailer, PT.
Oh, yes, yes.
Sort of evokes that and stuff, and just to bring that into that game the way they did. So, Gaming Raptor, did you play Returnal?
No, but Returnal is one of the top of the list games I'm gonna get as soon as I get the PlayStation 5. I've seen Troy play this a lot. It looks beautiful, like the different biomes and the whole different worlds. They all look incredible.
Yeah.
But the thing that makes me want to go into this game is the gameplay. After playing Doom Eternal, I just love fast-paced games. And
dude,
you are in for
you're as boom as you are, mate. You're going to absolutely destroy this thing. If you don't have, I'm going to give you a lay at the challenge right now, mate. You're going to get this. You're going to get this platinum, but quicker than I did. Definitely quicker than Troy got it.
I don't know. I'm not really good at getting platinum.
No,
mate, you're do it with this.
Yeah, I honestly think with your skills in Doom Eternal, you could honestly expect to get this done in less than 24 hours, I reckon, mate. If that's assuming you're familiar with what are they called? Roguelikes. Because it was my first ever roguelike, so there was a big learning curve for me in it.
I played Hades later.
Oh, perfect.
Dude, you're all over it.
You're going to walk straight in and just destroy it and be laughing. You'll be finishing the game as I was still stuck in Biome 1. You're going to have a great time, mate. All right. The final entry in the best looking category was, of course, Guardians of the Galaxy. Big fan of that. A little too pink for my taste, but absolutely loved it front to back.
There was a lot of pink. What a good-looking game, though. Like, this game, again, like, the biomes change up very frequently, and just the art direction of each level was very well done. I know they've just recently, which I just checked out today, they added a patch for ray tracing 30 frames per second.
Oh, it's open for the ray tracing 60.
I know performance mode towards the end of the game, it got a little bit choppy and was sort of dropped towards 10, 20 frames per second. But that's because it was trying to do so much towards the end of that game with space and everything flying in the sky and fights. It just threw everything at it. So, but what an absolutely good looking game that no one expected to look/be as good as it was.
Do you think, Steve, it had the best outfits, like the best, what do you call them, cosmetic change-ups?
Cosmetics. Oh, I think it did. I actually really liked the cosmetics. It was like going out of my way to find absolutely every single one of them. So I think to this day, I think I'm only missing maybe one outfit for one of my characters. So, definitely a good call on the outfits.
Shout out to the Star-Lord denim jacket mullet combo. I love that look.
Oh, how good was that? The kid version of Star-Lord as an adult was great.
Yes, it was beautiful. It was absolutely beautiful. So now, guys, the big question, who wins it? While we think about it, I'm going to quickly run down the list again. We had Kenner, Forza 5, Halo, Far Cry 6, Ratchet and Clank, Deathloop, Returnal, Guardians of the Galaxy. Who wants to throw their hat on one of these first?
It's looking, it's hard. I'm going to go with Forza.
Oh, I was thinking Kenner. What about you, Gaming Raptor?
Honestly, Far Cry 6.
Oh, I like it. I like it.
We're split.
We're split
yeah,
3 ways.
Kenner, I'm only going to say Kenner. I threw Kenner up on my console today just to check it out on the 77-inch
The glorious
OLED, and I can tell you right now, looking at that game on this kind of monitor, and you flick it back to something like Forza just absolutely shits on it. So,
fair call, mate. I will defer to you on that one. You definitely have one. You don't need glasses to look at it.
Yeah, no, so Forza probably best looking. Like, there's a reason it is winning all those awards for best looking game or best, everyone's saying it's the best looking game on Xbox. I think it probably is in terms of, like, they do only have to render cars essentially and a massive world. They're not worrying about character models and stuff so much. And what they do with that world and the way it looks, I think it's got the Far Cry 6 in terms of the world, the way it looks, a very similar looking world. Mexico, they're both set in that very similar look, and I think they both do that probably equally. Obviously, Far Cry doing a lot more in it, but then you've got the car models that look absolutely insane as well, and they've got that many cars that all look as good as each other. Especially when you're sitting behind a steering wheel in Troy's studio inside the cockpit of one of those cars, that world flying by just pretty much feels realistic. So that's my case for Forza.
And I will back your case there, Steve, by just pointing out, it just occurred to me now, only the Forza and Halo are the only two on this list that would be natively built for the Xbox. I reckon every other game on his lead platform is the PS5.
That's right. So, Ratchet's bloody good looking as well, but, I'm going to have to go with Forza probably.
Yeah, I agree, mate. I can agree. Gaming Raptor, are you going to go against this, or do we have a unanimous decision here?
Yeah, you know what? I think Forza is probably the best looking game.
There we have it. Unanimous.
Hey.
Where is it? There. Forza Horizon 5 wins best looking game, as according to us. Now, the next category is best remaster / upgrade. If you've done either, you're eligible. The first one is Alan Wake Remastered. The second one, I'll just quickly go through them all. The next one is Mass Effect Legendary Edition. That's, of course, the trilogy. Does it say on there? No, Fast Eyes. I thought maybe the engine would be on there. Then we had, of course, Death Stranding, remastered for the PS5. Doesn't that run beautifully well? And then the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, the best-looking version of CJ I've seen to date. Especially once you hit the gym. Then we have Legend of Zelda, Skyward Sword. And finally, Ghost of Tsushima, the director's cut. Boys, what are we feeling? Does anything jump out at you?
Well, mate, the first thing that jumps out at me is that there's no way G.E.A. trilogy can win this because of all the controversy and the rain and stuff. They've fixed it recently. Like, yes, it's good, nostalgic and stuff, but best remaster / upgrade, there's no way it can win it on this list. For me, I'm going to jump straight in there and give the win for myself to either. I'm going to say the win, but it's going to be Mass Effect or Alan Wake for me. But what are you guys thinking?
Oh, I was right there with you, man. Alan Wake takes the biscuits for my money, I think.
If Alan Wake's with you, I'm going with Alan Wake as well, because that's one of my favourite games of all time. And I think with the new resolution and shadows and the torch, and made that game just something special with the remaster.
It absolutely sings. Gaming Raptor, do you know if Alan Wake was available, the remaster, for Xbox One? I don't know if that was only current gens.
Yeah, it is available for Xbox One.
Cool. Did you go eyes on it?
Yeah, I don't know. I played the Xbox 360 Alan Wake, and it just never caught my interest.
Fair enough.
But I might pick it up when I fix my PlayStation.
I will note Ghost of Tsushima does look fantastic, but for my money, there wasn't a huge. There was an improvement, but not. I was hoping for a bigger improvement from the PS4 release to the PS5 release. Steve, what were your thoughts there?
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. I literally had it running on my TV today, and I was looking at it going, I'm actually not that impressed with it. So I wanted to check something else out. Like I know that got the sort of treatment for the PS5 sort of update, whereas something like The Last of Us 2 it didn't really get the PS5 remastered treatment. It got like the 60 frame per second patch and stuff. And I still think that looks better than something like Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah.
So I was like, a little bit underwhelmed by sort of the update that it got. So yeah, I mean, it's on the list because it was upgraded for PS5 this year, but definitely by no means, a worthy winner of this list. So for me and for mine, and just the way it runs and the way it looks, and mainly because I'm a bit of an Alan Wake fan, but I'm going to have to give it to Alan Wake, to be honest.
Yeah, and for me, mate, it pulls on the 360 nostalgia strings. I just love everything about it.
It does. I mean, I do have to give props to Mass Effect. They actually did some really good remasters of those first 3 games, but I'm more of an Alan Wake fan.
They did. Oh, and that's not to take anything off Ghost of Tsushima. If you haven't played it yet, it is phenomenal on both the PS4 or the PS5. It is a great-looking game. Just not the best remaster, I don't think.
It is. And I'll touch on Legend of Zelda quickly, Skyward Sword. Like, I did reinstall that because I really did enjoy that game on the, what was it, on the Switch? No, not the Switch. It was originally on the...
originally. I thought you meant the remaster.
No, what was it on? Just the Wii, yeah. So you use the remotes to, like, control the sword and stuff like that. So they did some good stuff with the controls to try and make that game work on a gamepad. Still a little bit fiddly for my mind to actually take it a win, but the game still looks nice. It's got a nice art style that does translate nicely to the Switch. But, yeah, definitely no, Alan Wake for me.
Yes, Alan Wake gets my vote. Gaming Raptor, how are you feeling?
I'm going to be honest. Since I don't own a PlayStation 5 yet, I haven't played a lot of these. But
yeah, fair enough, man.
I have played Mass Effect and G.E.A. trilogy. I played Death Stranding, but I'm only on PlayStation 4. But I'm going to go Mass Effect.
Oh,
but
nice.
only because Mass Effect gave me this badass poster.
Nice.
Mass Effect could easily win this thing. I'm going to bias towards Alan Wake, but I do actually really enjoy Mass Effect as a trilogy as well. So Mass Effect 2 is still one of my favorite games of all time. But I played a lot more Alan Wake remaster than I have Mass Effect.
I will say for Alan Wake, it is the updated visuals that make me really want to go back and play that game. Like, I love the story. It's great. But it's the visual look. Like, I want to go back and see the updated world. Like, that's the hook that pulls me back in anyway. I love it. And absolutely. I just quickly wanted to give a little bit of props to the Grand Theft Auto trilogy, the remaster, just in the fact that they went back and updated the control scheme to make it modern. So they did do some great work with the controls, specifically in
absolutely. And they have since fixed the rain glitch, so you don't have ridiculous rain that covers your whole screen anymore.
Oh my god.
And sorry, Gaming Raptor, I spoke over you, mate. Can you please say that one again? I missed it.
I couldn't see anything when that rain glitch happened.
Yeah,
it's terrible.
And the GTA.
It just filled the screen. I love it. It looks like we have a split decision here, but 2-1 will go with the majority, which is Alan Wake Remastered wins our best remastered. Thank you very much, Alan Wake. All right, category 3 is the best playing game. That's right, the best playing game. We'll start off with Halo Infinite. Of specific note, the best playing, the mechanic, the hook, if you will, is the grapple hook is phenomenal. I want it in every game now. It's such a joy to play with that grapple hook. It takes it to a new level. I love it. And also the frames per second is quite impressive.
Oh, mate, this game, like the grapple hook, I was saying to you before we went online, like before we went on air, that I was playing Cyberpunk and I just wish I could like grapple anything just to get up higher, quicker. Like it just changes the way Halo plays. It's quick, it's fun, but it's not overpowered at all either.
Yeah.
But it just gives you the fact you can grapple to enemies and just like melee them as well.
Yes.
Like it's just so much fun to play around with you. Obviously, you've got your video up there with like your Spider Chief and stuff. You do feel like Spider-Man occasionally just zipping around that battlefield and just absolutely destroying fools with that game. And just the mechanics of the first-person shooting in that game is just like I haven't played a better first-person shooter for a long time. It just feels good to play, and I can't talk more about Halo in just the way it feels to play. And it's for me. Like, I'm going to tell you right now, this is probably my best playing game for the year before we even go through the others. But just to play this game just feels phenomenal.
The contrast I'll draw for you, Steve, with Halo is, as you were just saying, like switching out from first-person running, grappling, and then jumping into a vehicle or maybe a flying vehicle. It is flawlessly, the control scheme just works flawlessly from situation to situation. Contrast excuse me, contrasts the Call of Duty mission I was talking about earlier, Mission 4 in the plane, which just has horrible gameplay mechanics. Like, that's an example of going from first person into a vehicle and they just destroyed the whole game and ripped you out of it. But Halo does not suffer that at all. Halo is silky smooth no matter how you approach it.
No, every mechanic in that game is just down to a, fine-tooth comb. It's just everything's perfected and it just feels really good to play.
It does. What are your thoughts on playing Halo there, Gaming Raptor?
Honestly, after playing Doom Eternal, I'm gonna probably bring that up a lot. But
go right ahead, mate. By all means.
The Mihawk with the super shotgun.
Yes.
It taught me how to fly around the arenas and whatnot. And in Halo Infinite, I play a little bit crazy. I always use the grapple hook.
Yep.
I'm flinking around all over the place. The enemies are trying to figure out where I am half the time. It's super fun, and literally in the first couple of minutes of playing Halo Infinite, I already felt like a badass.
Yes.
I throw a fusion coil and then with my pistol, I swing up, shoot both in the head. It plays great, and it's a very smooth FPS.
It really does. Now, can anyone argue against the fact that the coolest thing to do in the game is to grapple onto an enemy's vehicle and then kick them out of it? I love it.
Oh, dude, no, it's insane. Especially when you grapple a
Banshee.
No, a Banshee.
Oh, the ghost. Yeah. The ghosts of the motorbikes. Yeah, the Banshee. Yeah, when they fly over and you grapple up to them.
Oh, and they say some funny stuff when you commandeer their vehicles as well.
They do. They have some.
I'm pretty sure I've actually had an elite say he's commandeered my vehicle. I'm pretty sure he said
that. All right, so it sounds like we all love the best playing feel of Halo, but I submit to you, gentlemen, that Forza Horizon 5, when played with a steering wheel and moving it far more of the steering wheel into the simulation end of things, turn a lot of the assists off, and it just comes back to sort of man and machine, if you will. It's got a really different feel when you play that game with a steering wheel. Steve, I know you were in here. What were your thoughts?
Oh, mate, I loved it with the steering wheel. It's very hard to sort of play compared to a controller, and you're obviously nowhere near as good as you're going to be with a controller. But, mate, that thing felt so real. And that actually got me back into playing Forza again, because I was just sitting there. I was just so drawn into the world. It felt like I was actually driving a car. And, even though you were actually impressed with my driving skills, I did pretty well considering all the assists were turned off.
Yes, it was. I put it to the hardest difficulty, which is like my long-term vision for my skill for this game. Give me a couple of years to work on it. But Steve just sat down and just started driving with all the assist turns off, just casually driving around every corner. I would have spun out 30 times, and Steve's just hitting the road, hitting the lines, and going. It was quite
just
special.
Caress it. Mate, it did elevate that game to a part of being quite special in terms of the way it actually played. And the people out there that've got the proper setups with steering wheels and stuff, I can only imagine what they're, getting out of this game in terms of its mechanics and stuff. And I bet they're all feverishly waiting for the next Forza proper game, and not Forza Horizon. But the fact that you can play this thing on simulation mode, I'm like, why do we even need Forza?
You don't. At this point, they can just stick with Forza Horizon. The one thing I'll say I hope they add is because if you've got Game Pass Ultimate with the PC support, you can get Forza Horizon 5 with Game Pass on the PC. What I'm hoping for one day is a VR patch there. Tell you, if I could use the mounted steering wheel with VR goggles, that would be my dream.
Oh, mate, because I know Flight Simulator has the VR capability as well, and that thing would be amazing. So if you got that similar kind of thing with Forza, my God, that'd be good with the steering wheel.
Oh, that's next level. I'm excited. Have you had a chance, Gaming Raptor, to go hands-on with the steering wheel in Forza?
I'm going to be completely honest. I had no idea you can use a steering wheel to play Forza. This is my first time hearing about this. It sounds fun.
Yeah, it's phenomenal. I highly encourage you to check it out if you get a chance, man. It is phenomenal. Next up in the list, we have Returnal. And the key thing we want to point out here is its implementation of the DualSense features. It just brings the DualSense to a new level.
Oh, mate, it really does. I remember it's just, again, in the studio the first day, just when you've come out of that first level and the rain is pouring, you can feel the raindrops in your controller, in your hand, and you're running around. I'm like, well, this thing's doing things. And then the fact that you got the different feedback with the controller, with the different weapons, and
Yep.
like you can just feel the light thud in the controller from just running around that world. Like
Yes.
the game itself just feels good to play. Like there's not many games, third person action games, that feel this good to play.
No, and a shout out to the two. What do you call that? The trigger with the two spots on the one trigger.
Haptic feedback.
Haptic feedback. The use of the haptic feedback, thank you, Steve, is phenomenal in this thing. And the other thing I like is, I know it's a minor feature, but the audio that comes out of the controller is perfectly done. It's got that really creepy vibe to it when they want it to.
It is. Funny you mention the haptic feedback, because initially I was like, I didn't like the whole like pull left trigger down halfway to fire your normal weapon, then pull fully to like engage your secondary.
Yeah.
But I think I changed it either at home or while I was playing at yours, but then I went back to that haptic feedback stuff and I just could not go back after that. Like it was just a mechanic that I didn't even know I wanted until I had it.
Yes, and I think that may have been the game that tipped Microsoft off to they need to start looking into this sort of control scheme.
I think that's when those conversations started, yeah. But,
Yeah.
No, what a game to play. Like, it just feels good to play. And that's another reason why I went back and platinumed this game, just because, A, being in the world, because it looks so beautiful as we go back to, like, best-looking game, but just the way the game feels to play as well. Like, it marries up those two things very nicely.
It does. And, sorry, I'll just mention, it's still in our closer reel, Steve, the moment where you opened the day when you were in the studio, we're on the couch together, and you opened the first, the green tables that regen your health.
Yep.
And we both at the same time went, ooh. we were both taken aback by the sound coming out of that controller at that time. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
That was great.
I remember that.
Lives on. So that's phenomenal. All right, next up we are nominating Far Cry 6. And of particular note for best playing here, I'm talking in the end game when you unlock the gun or the outfit. Or no, what is it? What do you call the backpacks in these? Supos or something? What are the... Supremos. When you get the last one where you can look through the walls, see the enemy, shoot through the walls if you've got the correct rifle, and just clear a whole base, that breaks Far Cry wide open. I've never seen Far Cry do that before. That was a real, oh my God moment. Like, look what they've done.
That's right. And I know it's not mentioned here, but best playing in terms of like the headshot feedback in that game, I just enjoy it so much. Like to be able to snipe silently, and just even any headshot you get, it's got a nice crunch to it. It just feels good to sort of clear out those bases silently and just take out enemies by a headshot. So I know, Gamer Raptor, you probably got a bit to say. You played Far Cry 6?
Yeah, I've played Far Cry 6. I haven't finished it. So this whole thing about the Supremo where you can look through walls all new to me, but I think Far Cry 6, out of all the Far Cry's, plays very, very well. One thing about this game is just like, there's always this one moment in the game that will stick with me, is the LMG that had like 400 bullets, and it lasered through helicopters, cars, people. It just didn't care. It was a laser, and what was cool is that I did that. I made it so that gun can do that kind of stuff. It was awesome.
Very cool.
It has some very good customizable guns and stuff in that game. I give it that. The customization on guns and outfits and stuff like that and stuff you can do in that game was very, very good.
The other big gameplay fix in my mind that they did in Far Cry 6 was, what do they call it? The Guerrilla Network, where you didn't have to travel all over the island yourself. You could invest some skill points and get, 12 different spots across the map that you could just teleport to. That was just a huge relief when they introduced that in a Far Cry game. I was very appreciative of that update as well.
Very good, very good.
And then, I'm on the wrong thing. Where are we? And then finally in the category for best playing game, we've got It Takes Two, because, of course, I think hands down best co-op game I've ever gone hands-on with.
Yep, Troy. You know what I said about Halo potentially being the winner for best playing game? I'm leaning towards It Takes Two now, because my God, this thing, when we played it, like, I don't reckon I've had more fun playing a co-op game than this thing.
No, and I would challenge anyone to name a game that does more genres in one game. It implements all the different game genres control schemes beautifully. Like, it turns into a 2D fighter. The control scheme works. whatever mode it changed into, they had thought of the controls. It was just a beautifully conceived game. I love it.
It's just ridiculous. And just the co-op mechanics and the way you have to work as a partnership with the different mechanics of each character as well.
Yeah.
And they just complement each other perfectly. And yeah, as you said, it switches like even like a Diablo-style dungeon crawler at one point, and just the mechanics are perfect.
Yep.
Like then all of a sudden you're skiing down a slope, or you're fighting squirrels on top of an aeroplane in like a 2D fighter, Street Fighter type game. It's just, it throws everything at you, and it does everything to like, a 10 out of 10. Like perfection. It's just one of the best gaming experiences I've had all year.
100%, man. And the other big thing I loved about it was it didn't rub your face in where to go. It let us explore and find the answers ourselves, which I thought was phenomenal, because I could see the temptation from a development standpoint of really dragging you through, but they didn't. They were very gentle with it, and I appreciated that as well.
No, that's right. They give you the mechanics at the start of each level. They give you like a small little tutorial about how each mechanic works, and then you're left to your own device about how to figure stuff out. You actually have to talk to your partner and actually figure out how to actually get through each of these puzzles. And as I'll speak for us, we were quite stumped, a few times, and I was like thinking, holy shit, we're going to stream going. We actually got to figure this out. I'm thinking, are we going to be stuck at this point this whole stream? But no, you work through it and you talk through it, and it's just part of just the great, game designer that had it. Just like you thought you were stuck, but you can discuss these things and you get through it and just use those mechanics. And it's just the whole way through that game, you're constantly being surprised with different ways to play the game, and it does everything absolutely beautifully. So
it does.
Can't speak more highly of It Takes Two.
I can add one bit of icing to that cake, mate. This is the only game on the list that incorporates talking to another human as part of the gameplay experience. All the other ones are solo experiences, but It Takes Two, I think, kicks it up another gear by forcing real-world communication with your teammate. It's brilliant. I love it.
Oh, absolutely. There's a lot of co-op games out there you can probably get away with just, playing a shooter game and not really need to talk to your partner. But this game, you really do need to speak to each other to actually get through it. And it is part of the whole gameplay experience. And for me, I'm going to go out there and say it now. It Takes Two. That's my winner for this list.
And I am right there with you, Steve. Oh, and a reminder for anybody watching, we have the entire Let's Play playthrough, Steve and I, on the channel. It's an It Takes Two playlist for your convenience. Gaming Raptor, how are you feeling, mate? What is the best playing in your mind?
It's very hard for me.
Well, you think about it, mate. I'll give you a minute to think about it as we quickly just run back down the list, mate. We had, first up was Halo Infinite. We like the grapple hooks there. Forza 5 with the steering wheel. I appreciate you haven't played it, but I hope we articulated ourselves well. Then, of course, there was Returnal. That game's just from another planet. Then there was Far Cry 6. And finally, It Takes Two. So, Gaming Raptor, which one are you backing, mate?
Honestly, I may be a little biased, but I think Far Cry 6 played the best for me this year.
That's a fair call, man. They did a lot of improvements.
Yeah, it was just super fun to play. And when I played it, like first couple hours, I was blown away by how good the game felt.
Yes,
it didn't feel like close like Far Cry 5 did to me, but
no,
Far Cry 6 is just a very smooth experience.
I agree, mate.
Can't wait to finish it.
Yeah, it's awesome, mate. As I said in one of these earlier, make sure you wrap it up by about the 60-hour mark. At about 75 hours, I was really done with the experience. Don't draw it out too long, is my advice.
All right.
I am a big Far Cry fan, but it sounds like once again we have a split decision with both Steve and I backing It Takes Two. So I declare It Takes Two, our winner for the best playing game of the year. Next up, and the final category for this evening's standoff is, of course, Game of the Year itself. First on the block, Steve, Hitman 3.
Woo! Hitman 3, very early in the year, if you think about it. It feels like it almost came out last year at this point.
Yeah, was it January 20? I want to say 21, January. Was it late January?
It was January, February 2021. It was very early in the year, but it was a very good way to start the year because there wasn't a whole lot coming out, and Hitman 3 just bringing the whole game out and got rid of that episodic crap that was going, which was not a bad way to do things. But I mean, I like being able to play a game and just, go through every level and play it as I do. As we've already discussed, I do play Hitman games a little bit differently to Troy, but I played this game through and
I doubt anyone plays Hitman the way I do, mate.
But no, what a good way to start. And like, it was a very early contender for Game of the Year for me. Just the way the gameplay all worked, the way the story sort of all came to a head, and then the way the developer, you could almost see with that final mission was sort of going into the next game, which is James Bond.
James
And
Bond.
they sort of, you could see where they were going. So I just sort of, the whole game for me was a very good, complete package. So Troy, I know this is up there for you.
Oh, it's a massive one for me. I want to give them props for allowing us to import all the Hitman 1 and Hitman 2 content into Hitman 3. Such a value add. They did not have to do that, but I appreciate they did it. The other thing I want to shout them out for is adding that VR support to the PlayStation release of it. Just fantastic. It's unfortunate that it's tethered to the controller, but as we covered off in the news, it's coming to PC next year, the VR mode, and that's got full motion support. So I'm eagerly awaiting it. But I absolutely love Hitman 3. Best Hitman they've ever made. It's a perfect game, in my opinion. I have no knocks to put against Hitman 3. Just such an awesome stealth game. I loved it. Gaming Raptor, what was your experience, mate, with Hitman 3? Did you go hands-on?
Yeah, I played it, and I'm gonna be honest, I did not like it.
Fair enough,
There's
man.
just something the way Hitman plays. It's just it doesn't feel as good.
So
I mean, I played a bit of Hitman 2, and it was slow, and I felt really smart figuring all this stuff out, but I never finished it because the game is just I don't know. I can't really put a finger on it, but I just wasn't impressed with Hitman 3 at all.
yeah, I think you've got to have a crazy attention to detail to really be lit up by this game. I like looking at all the little pieces as they move around the simulation. I'm a big fan, but I understand your point, mate. And sorry, just to clear up, you had played Hitman 2, but not Hitman 1?
I haven't played. No, I played Hitman 1. Jacob, my brother has Hitman 1, 2, and 3 on his Xbox.
Perfect.
I played a bit of Hitman 1, played Hitman 2 on my PlayStation, and played a bit of Hitman 3 on Jacob's Xbox.
Yes.
Yeah.
Not doing it
That's
for
right.
you, though. Fair enough. Next up, contention all round, Returnal, Game of the Year. Anyone?
Oh, mate, just slightly. This is probably this has been sitting as my game of the year pretty much since I platinumed it. The only thing I can say against it is that I do know that it's a tough game. It was Dark Souls hard for a lot of it.
Yes.
And I was off the game until obviously Troy hit Biome 3 and then defeated the boss, and I was like, no, I can't have this. I'm going to have to defeat this boss, and then kept going from there, and then from beating Biome 3 to then it was like, no, I need to finish this game. And then it was from, I need to finish this game to get the real ending, from getting the real ending to platinuming the game. So, pound for pound, this game just absolutely did everything for me this year. Like it was hard. It was, it was one of those games you want to actually finish just because the story, it tries to, or it is telling in the game, for the type of game that it is as well, is quite compelling, which I actually found quite interesting. I didn't expect to be drawn in by the story and the way it was tying in all the themes and stuff to the actual gameplay itself.
Yeah, 100%.
And the levels themselves as well was something that I actually was taken aback by the time I'd finished the game. And then I just sort of wanted to get that extra ending as well, which you need to complete the game fully to actually get.
Yes.
So, and it wasn't just the fact that the gameplay was so good that I wanted to say, it was the story, it was the graphics, it was the sound, it was everything about this game just was such a perfect package that, I can't really say anything bad about this game other than the fact that, the difficulty could be seen as it's a stopping barrier for people playing this game or completing this game or getting past. Even the first boss can take people, sometimes they might fall off the game. But if you stick with this game, it is an absolute perfect 10 out of 10 as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah, well, as I said earlier, man, it took me 24 hours in game time to beat that first boss. So I can completely understand people falling off. However, I would argue that it is that challenge that makes it the most rewarding platinum I've ever earned.
Oh, absolutely, mate. Like this is up there with me in terms of like most satisfying platinums because As I said, I platinum Ratchet and Clank, which is on this list as well. That game was a delight to platinum because it wasn't that hard, but the challenge and stuff that came with actually platinum this game, the sense of satisfaction towards the end, was absolutely worth it. And I just, in terms of platinums, it's probably the hardest and best I've probably gotten in my time being a gamer. So
I agree completely.
I can't talk highly enough.
I agree completely, man. Hands down, my funnest platinum. Oof, I love Returnal. I love it. And sorry, Gaming Raptor, you have or have not played Returnal?
I have not played any of Return.
Very good, mate.
Yet.
Fair enough. All right, so the third game we have is Ratchet and Clank, A Rift Apart. As you said, Steve, you platinumed this one. I have not.
I did, mate. This one's like if you need a platinum, or if you want a platinum, this one is a very enjoyable platinum. It's a very easy platinum. Like it's not hard. You can switch between those levels to and fro as much as you like, or biomes, and pick up those trophies pretty easily. Especially using that gain help stuff on the PlayStation thing that it's got. But
yes.
Like a very, very, very good game. Like I don't platinum games if I don't like them. A game I will usually start playing straight away. Halo's got the similar kind of thing that where as soon as I start playing the game, I'm like, I want 100% this thing just because I enjoy being in that world and enjoy playing it.
Yes.
And it deserves my time. And Ratchet again was up there this year for that. Just like it looked glorious. Like the gameplay was awesome. The sound was awesome. Like the 3D audio sound. I've got the Pulse 3D headset. It just sounded awesome to play through that. And it was just a fun little romp. Like it just had a really cool story. Rivet played just as well as Ratchet does. Like I enjoyed her just as much as I enjoyed playing Ratchet. It's very hard to sort of balance that, bring in a new character to an established franchise and to have you enjoy those characters just as much as you do the original cohort. And I think they just blended that really, really well. So
the best reskin of the main character they've ever done in a game. I agree. And sorry, I have a minor correction. I just went and checked my trophies. I actually did platinum it. I forgot that I had, but I do have the platinum for Ratchet and Clank as well.
There you go. There you go.
It's so good, I forgot that I platinumed it. Returnal, I will never forget that I platinumed it. Any gotty thoughts for you for Ratchet and Clank there, Gaming Raptor?
I was gonna say that the game just kind of looks more like a game movie, more of a movie than a game. But
yeah, I can say that
would probably be kind of hypocritical because I do like Metal Gear Solid. So. Yeah,
Kojima's cutscenes do have a different flavor to them, though,
and do run a little bit longer than the old Ratchet and Clanks.
Yes,
very good. Okay, next up we have Resident Evil 8 or Resident Evil Village, depending on what you want to call it. I enjoyed my time with this. Definitely didn't platinum this one. I know that for a fact. I believe, is this the first time we're mentioning Resident Evil in the standoff? I
believe it.
Yeah,
I believe it is the first time, which is strange because it actually was a very good looking game as well. So I'm surprised it wasn't on our list for best looking. And but like Resident Evil 7 obviously set a new standard for first person Resident Evils and was really good. And then this thing sort of took a different level and sort of more towards that Resident Evil 4 action horror game. It did have sort of some horror moments when one of the best moments I think was going to that mansion where it was kind of like a escape room kind of thing, which I think that's probably where it hit its strides the best, where it wasn't being quite actiony. But at the time I was like, I really enjoyed my time with Resident Evil Village. It's on this list because I think it just does everything really well. Like it's a good horror game, it's a good action game, it's a good first person shooter. It changes up what you're doing. The pacing's quite good in the game as well. Like you start at that mansion, you're trying to survive amongst the tall vampire lady that won Best Actress at the Game Awards, it just moves at a good click the whole way through. Like you just constantly doing different things, and I think it's a very good Resident Evil game and a very good sort of game to be on this list. But Gabriel, did you play Resident Evil Village?
Yes, I did. I really, really liked it. I mean, RE3 remake was kind of disappointing because I beat it in 3 hours.
Yeah, it was very short.
Yeah, I forgot about that. Yeah, good call.
I took my time with this game, and luckily I didn't beat it in 3 hours. But it was very Resident Evil 4. I noticed there wasn't really much inventory management to it.
I really enjoyed that feature.
One of the things that it nailed, at least one part that I can just remembered right now, was the horror
Yes.
aspect of Resident Evil. There was this one time where you go down into like a basement, and then you just do this puzzle, and then there's like this baby thing that's chasing
Oh,
you,
yes.
and you're trying to open the elevator. That gave me a rush. Like,
House
that never
Marraket, I think it's
scared
called.
me. Yeah,
Yes.
yeah. But
And,
it was a very good Resident Evil, and the ending kind of made me a little confused. But I'm really excited for Resident Evil 9. So,
Yeah, they did
yeah.
They did go very action orientated with Chris Redfield towards the end there, which I think just drove people a little bit on the wrong side of what they want out of their Resident Evil. But I didn't mind. It was a bit cathartic, being able to sort of go from the horror stuff to shooting everything in with a SMG or whatever you had towards the end of the game there.
Yeah.
But a testament to this game was the fact that as soon as I did finish that game, I did want to jump straight back into a new game plus and upgrade all my weapons and stuff. So it's always a testament to a game. If I do want to jump back into that game straight away, then it obviously did have its hooks in me and deserves to be on this list. So
definitely. The one knock I'll make on it is that Resident Evil 7 supported VR. Resident Evil 8, they dropped the VR support, which I think is
they did.
An
Yeah, that was one of
shame.
the best things about Resi 7, wasn't it?
Yes, it was brilliant.
I need to try.
What was that?
I
Sorry?
need to try Resident Evil 7 in VR.
Oh, it's fantastic, mate. It's so good.
Yeah. I mean, I can't even play Five Nights at Freddy's VR, and Resident Evil 7 will be on a whole different level.
It really is. It's awesome. How would you like to go, Gaming Raptor, if they did Doom Eternal in VR?
My breakfast would probably be on the floor.
So what you're saying is you don't think Halo will be able to do it either?
Maybe Halo. Doom, absolutely not. Doom is too fast-paced.
Indeed it is.
Especially Eternal.
Yes. Okay, and then the fifth game for Gotti, Kenna, Bridge of Spirit, the only indie game on the list, but my God, did it earn its place on this list.
Oh, absolutely. It earned its place on this list. It's very good looking. It's very good playing. Like, it does play a little bit like an old style PS2, PS3 style platform adventure game, but it just, the fact that it looks as good as it does and just does, it doesn't try to do more than it is, and it just does everything that it is perfectly, I think. So I think they've incorporated the combat's really good. I think the bow and arrow combat's good. The hand-to-hand combat's very good. I feel like the sound effects, I think, maybe let down a little bit on the hand-to-hand combat. There's not quite the thud you want from the staff hitting the enemies. Like, even playing it today, I was just like, I would like a little bit more feedback from that. But
is that also when you do the rot enhanced hammer blow? Did you enjoy that more, or still didn't?
No, I enjoyed that more. I think the rot stuff was done really well. I think the rot arrow and stuff hits hard, and I think the rot sort of attacks hit really hard as well. But just what a surprise of a game! Like, the fact that this thing came out and it was just a small little indie game is what we want to call it. But to look as good as it is, and I mean, I could see a sequel to this game winning a Game of the Year. I think Ken is probably a tiny bit off Game of the Year, but the fact that it's been made by 15 people and is even in this list is testimony enough to how good this game is.
100%, man. And we should also note that this is the first one so far in the list. There is another one coming up that was, mid-tier in price, not a full-price game. All the others have been full price.
Yeah, but no, what a game. Like, obviously, Game Director, I'm assuming you haven't played it because you don't have a PS5. Have you seen much on it?
No. There was this YouTuber that I watched that played it. I saw like 3 seconds of gameplay of him dying, but I haven't seen much gameplay.
Fair enough.
It's funny you should say that. I have said to Troy that this game is harder than Dark Souls in the past, and I'm going to stick with that because this game on normal difficulty, like, I had to put this game down to easy just to finish it, because some of these boss fights towards the end of the game are absolutely brutal. This thing is wrapped up as a kid's game, but let me tell you, this thing will kick your ass if you are not a legit gamer. And I'm happy to say that I had to chuck this down to easy, because I could not have done it. Returnal was easy in this bloody thing. This thing kicks your ass if you let it. But it was the fact that it could actually do that in the package that it was. I'm like, no, I give him a bit of a slow clap for that, because what a game. Like, if you actually want that gameplay and you want that difficulty out of a game, this game's actually going to give it to you. It's not going to be a walk in the park if you want to, platinum this game. And I don't even think I'm going to be able to do that, to be honest.
Yeah, great story, great gameplay, and obviously great looking game. Phenomenal. Can't speak to it highly enough. If you haven't played it, definitely check it out. Next on our list, Game of the Year, Halo Infinite. Anyone?
Mate, it's up there.
It's
definitely up there. Having said, now that I've just finished it, granted I still have to watch that final cutscene, but my Xbox has just turned itself off, so I hopefully haven't done myself a mischief there and somehow glitched my console app. But
quick resume for the win, Steve. You'll be fine.
But I've enjoyed the story. I think the melding of the open world gameplay with the campaign gameplay is done quite well. Obviously, I've had my gripes with some of the locations being pretty samey, but I think I think I'm more upset with myself, the fact that I didn't spend more time in the open world before doing the campaign. So I think it's more on me than the game itself.
Yeah, at the 4th mission mark, man, that's when I just walked off and explored for hours, and I had an absolute blast. That was the perfect time to go check out the ring.
Yeah, so I think that's more on me more than anything. But I think if I'd played maybe another half an hour, 45, maybe even an hour more in the open world and sort of unlock that stuff, coming to the final missions, I think I'd be slightly happier. But I mean, again, that's a me thing. It's not a game thing. I think the game itself is absolutely brilliant. I think what they've done with gameplay to elevate Halo for the future and stuff is phenomenal. I think what they've added to the franchise, what Bungie started, I think 343's finally hit the game where we can go, okay, 343 Halo, they're a match made in heaven now. Yeah, they've finally hit that point where it's like, Bungie's off doing Destiny, but now 343 is the Halo developer, and we want to see what they can do in the future as well. And I think Halo, and it's not even speaking, that's just the campaign. Like, multiplayer came out 5 weeks ago now. We've been playing multiplayer. The fact that things got such a good multiplayer aspect as well as this campaign, it's hard to not say this is your game of the year when it's doing so many things. Like, a lot of these games on the list are just doing a single player. This thing has done a multiplayer game and a campaign to
co-op campaign thanks to the glitch.
That's right. to such a high degree. They've got so many things to balance to get this out. Yes, they had a year delay, but that year delay has come to this game that's like everyone's, saying this is, one of the best Halo campaigns we've played in years. This is the best Halo multiplayer played in years, and there's a reason for that. So, and I've played both, and I can say the exact same things. Like, this is the best campaign I've played in years, and it's the best Halo multiplayer. It's the best first-person shooter multiplayer I've played in years, and the only one I've decided I want to actually play. So that's my stance on it anyway.
Yeah, it's tops, mate. Do you think modders are going to go back and add the grappling hook to the Halo anniversary? What was the package with all the previous ones in it?
The Master Chief Collection.
Master Chief Collection. Thank you. Any chance we'll get a grappling hook patched into that? Do you reckon?
No, I don't think so. I think all the purists love their Halo the way it is, so I don't think they're going to change that. But I think moving forward, I think we're going to see not only the grappling hook in Halo, but I think we're going to see it in many, many other games, I think, coming to the future.
I'm a bit fearful, mate. It might have the, the Link... Breath of the Wild, where everyone thought every mountain or every surface would be climbable, after that game did it so well, and then it just disappeared. Hopefully, the grappling hook doesn't suffer the same fate.
Let's hope so. Gaming Raptor, what do you think? What are your thoughts?
First, before I get into the thoughts, I want to let you guys know that there is a mod already for the grappling hook in Halo Combat Evolved that I've seen. I'm not sure about.
Oh, that's awesome! PC only, I assume.
Yes.
That's awesome. I'm going to have to check that out.
I think Halo will probably be my game of the year in this list because the only thing it's one of the only games I've played on here. But the other one would probably be Resident Evil 8. But the thing with Resident Evil 8 is I never replayed it, and that I feel like Resident Evil games need to be replayed. But only one Resident Evil on that. But Halo is fun. It's got a lot of Doom Eternal things to it, which I love. Great gameplay, a great story, very interesting characters. I haven't finished it yet because the last time I played it, I may or may not have gotten a tiny bit mad, tiny bit.
Did you let go of a controller towards a wall, maybe?
No, totally not. No, I don't know.
Not that extreme.
I was going to pick up what Game Ranger said. The characters and stuff, I think they do really well with just creating like a new version of Cortana. I think they've just done that really nicely. The same voice actor, so you kind of get that feeling of that Cortana is there, but it's not Cortana, and they've weaved Cortana into the story as well. They do that really well. I think the pilot has a bit of levity as well, and humanity to the whole Master Chief story as well. I think they've actually done that really well. I think that's the thing they've struggled with in the past with characters and stuff, and the whole other squad of Spartans in Halo 5 that didn't quite hit right, and but I think they've finally sort of found that blend of character interaction with Master Chief and the story, and trying to sort of meld the old with the new as well. I think they've done really well with that.
You're right, mate. What I'd attach to that statement is what they've done beautifully with that pilot guy is he's essentially a coward and Master Chief's a hero. And by having them appear in cutscenes, you are constantly reminded about how cool Master Chief is, Like, by having the coward next to him, he looks that much better. It's brilliantly done storytelling.
Oh, he really does. And as obviously not that far in the story as well, but like there's a whole thing between their relationship and Master Chief, and him feeling like a failure to Cortana, and the fact that the whole story arc with him wanting to protect obviously the weapon, which is the new Cortana, and the pilot as well, sort of comes to a head as well. And it's just really touching storytelling stuff that you won't see sort of till you get there. But I've been really enjoying it.
It's great, and there's a character hook with the pilot, I think, at the end of the 6th mission, which I didn't see coming. It was a minor moment, but it took me by surprise. For a Halo story to surprise me narratively, that was definitely the end of Mission 6 is a definite high point in their storytelling cutscenes. Oh, the other thing I wanted to say about Halo Game of the Year-wise is, I think as most of us did, I played the multiplayer first to little success, but now having gone through playing the single player and getting really familiar with that grappling hook, now when I go in the multiplayer matches, Steve, I'm zipping around that map as well and getting a lot more kills.
Good to hear. No, that's the thing about this game. Like, I think, it does meld very well between single player and multiplayer. If you can get good at that, or either really, you're going to be good at the other. So I think, I think they've just managed to just create a very nice package here. And the fact that we're getting co-op campaign next year and we're getting more modes, we just had more modes added to multiplayer and stuff. I think the guys at 343 know what they're doing, and they're sort of giving it to us in spades at the moment. And I can't congratulate them enough for what they've managed to bring out and give it to us this year.
Phenomenal game. And I'll also just state, we were talking about Kenner Bridge of Spirits being sort of at the $50 in Australia price point, which is almost half price of a typical AAA game. Halo was, of course, included in Game Pass, so that's got to attribute something, surely, to the value of the package.
We've got free multiplayer and Halo Infinite on Game Pass. Like, it's just ridiculous.
Yeah, that has to give it some points to Game of the Year, surely.
Oh, and the next game on our list as well, Forza Horizon 5, also on Game Pass.
Boom!
So.
Let me bring up the slate. Let's move over to it. Game of the Year indeed. Now, for me, and this is very much a me thing, but Hitman 3 was the game that broke my index fingers with the, the Dual Sense. I keep wanting to call it the Dual Shock. The Dual Sense, having to hold R1 and L1 in Hitman 3 is what broke my fingers. But Forza with the steering wheel is very comfortable to play. So props to Forza for being a comfortable game to play.
That's it.
Love those controller options. Also, as Steve said earlier, the best looking game, arguably, on Xbox.
That's right. Also
included in Game Pass. Man, there's a lot of ticks here. And the story, for what there is in a car racing game, is also reasonable.
It is. I'm assuming we're on to Forza Horizon 5 now.
We are
skipped
indeed.
on from Halo. Yeah, so Forza Horizon 5, just what a game. Like this, it's essentially an adventure game that, you just drive cars around it essentially. Like you're going and doing all those things you would do in an adventure game. You're doing, side missions, to unlock full missions, and those missions are awesome in themselves, and you're doing it with very pretty graphics and ridiculously good sound effects and stuff like that as well. Like this game, like Forza, since Forza Horizon 3, I think's, been the stalwart for, car racing games in the industry at the moment, and Forza Horizon 5 is probably the best of all of them.
The one knock I'll say on Forza Horizon 5 from 4 is they removed the ability to fast travel to all the events, which is just a frustrating mechanic. I'm not sure why they pulled that out, but I'd like to see it put back in.
Yes. We did talk about. I would very much love to be able to fast travel straight to the events. I get what they're trying to do. I think what they do know they've got a very good looking world out there, and they want you to drive through it to get to those things. Kind of like how Spider-Man 2018 has fast travel points, but it's so fun to sort of move between. It will move in that world that you very don't find yourself using fast travel that much as it is.
Yeah, well, I guess the counterpoint there, Steve, would be the Halo option, where if you want to go and explore the open world, you can, but you could also just mainline those missions. I would argue.
No, that's true.
I would argue Forza Horizon needs to take a leaf out of Halo's book and make it more player choice by putting fast travel in. And if you want to explore the world, let me explore the world. But if I want to fast travel, I really want that option back in there.
No, very true, very true. But I mean, apart from that, it does everything almost flawlessly. I mean, it's very hard for it. I'm going to say it's very hard for a car racing game to get Game of the Year. I think it just took out IGN's Game of the Year.
Oh, okay.
I want to say. I think it won their Game of the Year. So, props to them because GameSpot gave it to Deathloop, which I think was a travesty. But anyway,
swing and a miss.
Is it Deathloop even on our list for Game of the Year? I don't think it is.
No.
So at least Forza made it on there, but no, it's such a good game. It's the fact that it's on Game Pass and you get such a quality product.
Great point.
It's like you're not going to find a better racing game out there. You're not going to find a better, not many better open world games out there, even though it is just a car racing game. But you got your barn finds, you got your different kind of, you got rally races, you got street races, and they've all got their different flavour. You've got your big races where you're racing what's it called?
There's a train. There's a what's the other one?
Train. That's what I was thinking of. You got people on jet skis and stuff as well, and people in wingsuits. I think at the start of the game you're racing up against as well.
Don't forget you can drive the Warthog in it as well.
You can drive the Warthog. I haven't unlocked it yet, but no, it's what a game! Like it deserves to be on this list. Absolutely,
100%. It deserves to be on the Game of the Year list. 100%. Any additional thoughts from you, Gaming Raptor? Forza Horizon 5 Game of the Year style?
Honestly, I am not a big fan of racing games, but
fair enough.
Forza Horizon did something like different to it. It felt really good to drive around. Not much you can do, at least from what I played, but it was just super fun driving around everywhere. And honestly, in the future, I see myself booting the game up, putting on Spotify, and just listening to music while just driving around.
It is a great podcast game.
It is honestly, the game looks good. There's a bunch of details with the cars, and I'm just super impressed with Forza Horizon 5. So probably a Game of the Year contender.
Yeah, I think that's the testimony to it. It's like a lot of people aren't racing game fans, but they just love playing Forza Horizon 5.
It's
just hit different.
Yeah, it's a technical marvel. I love what they're doing. The amount of objects on screen, the speed at which you can turn, it doesn't tear at all. It's brilliant. Absolutely flawless execution, bar the fast travel. Okay, then the next one on our list is Guardians of the Galaxy. Funniest game of the year. That's got to count.
Mate, funniest game of the year, best voice acting game of the year, and
best
probably
soundtrack?
One of the best soundtrack, one of the best stories in a game this year. It's ticking a lot of boxes, Troy.
It is phenomenal game. I have never been more interested in the characters of Guardians of the Galaxy than after playing this game. Real treat.
Oh, mate, these characters, I probably prefer this version of Guardians of the Galaxy than I have the two movies that have come out, which is
definitely
an absolute massive testament to that, because they've got a massive uphill battle, obviously coming against an established franchise as well, just like the Avengers game did. But this thing just came out of nowhere. Like no one expected anything, and I think that's why it finds itself on this list. It sort of defied expectations. Everyone was like, the marketing and stuff leading up to it's like, oh, okay, cool. This game, it's a Marvel game. It's Guardians of the Galaxy. It's whatever, but like it just was a good game. No one thought it was going to be a good game, and I would go as far as to say it's a great game.
It is, mate. I'll reiterate the point we discussed a few weeks back, whereby they were able to strip out some of the typical HUD elements like directing you via a GUI, and they substituted for the teammate banter and where the teammates would stand. Like they did some really unique, interesting, well-executed gameplay mechanic twists as well, which also I think nominates it for the Game of the Year list.
Oh, absolutely. Just the story, like the story the whole way through is captivating. Like you just want to keep playing this thing to go to the story, and the gameplay does complement that story very well as well. Obviously, towards the end, you get a few performance dips and stuff here and there, but obviously that stuff eventually gets patched out. And the fact that the game was doing as much as it was doing at that point in the time of the story as well, like I can kind of give it a little bit of leeway. Just what a game. Like it was announced at E3 and then came out a couple of months later as well.
Yeah, I think it was 3 months from announcement to release.
Yeah, so it was just one of those things. It came out of nowhere, and just again, no one expected it to do anything. And then the fact that it's even in this list of Game of the Year is just a phenomenal effort by this game. And I think by the time they get to a sequel for this game, which I think it's probably going to get, I think they're just like something like Kena Bridge of Spirits. I think they're going to really hit their stride with the sequel.
Yes, I'm hoping very much for a Mass Effect 2. That step up from 1 to 2. That would be phenomenal.
Yeah, and I know a lot of people are calling for being able to switch between characters and stuff. And that was the only problem. Exactly, I'm with you. Like I'm very happy the fact that we are using Star-Lord and the way you can control your characters. I think that was perfect. Maybe a Final Fantasy VII style thing where you if you choose to flick to the other characters, you can. Maybe that could work. But if you want to play as just Star-Lord, you can. But I really enjoyed the way they sort of implemented just the single player, story driven campaign that we don't get a lot of these days. There's no microtransactions. There's no store where you can purchase stuff. Everything you earn is in the game, and it was just so well done.
I've no idea. Have they talked at all about DLC for that game, or are they just that was a complete package and we're just straight on to number 2?
I reckon it's just a complete package and then we're done. And I think that's probably the best way to do it. I think move on to a sequel. You don't need DLC. I think the game's it's gone. It's done what it needed to do. It reviewed well. It played well. I think concurrently on Steam, it was doing pretty well as well, considering the type of game it was. Again, this game came out of nowhere. Such a good game. Can't speak highly enough of it.
Great game. Definitely worth playing. Just calling back there, Steve, to your discussion there of the not being able to switch out characters. What I love about the game throughout is on different levels, they just take one of the teammates out or a couple of the teammates out, and you instantly felt the lack of those teammates.
You did. Yeah.
It was so well executed. And that only works because you couldn't switch away from Star-Lord, I think. I loved it. Oh, also, quick shout out to the 40-odd seconds of Returnal gameplay nestled somewhere in the Guardians of the Galaxy story. It's available on the channel if you want to go check it out.
That's right. Just a little tip and a nod to one of the best games this year, I think.
Indeed. Gaming Raptor, any other thoughts, mate, for Guardians of the Galaxy Game of the Year style?
Honestly, Game of the Year, not really. I don't really like the bullet spongy enemies. Assassin's Creed Odyssey and Far Cry New Dawn just made me hate that.
Yeah.
But this game, it nails the characters, the Guardians of the Galaxy. They did that so well. I love talking to the characters and just listening to them. And
yes.
It's really cool. And the game looks beautiful. They nailed Nowhere.
Yes.
And, yeah. For a Marvel game, it's a good Marvel game, but I just don't think it's the greatest. That might be because of a certain other Marvel game that released last year.
Are you referring to the Avengers?
Avengers? Oh, I never heard of it. You don't know. The Avengers game doesn't exist, dude. I don't know. But I think it is a really good Marvel game. It's loyal to the Marvel comics, and the outfits. There's a lot of cool outfits in this game.
There is.
Bullet Peter. I hated that. When I saw him, I literally cried. But yeah.
I did enjoy the movie. The movie skins were quite cool in this one as well.
Oh, and shout out to the fridge door that you kept shutting.
The fridge door, where we thought there was going to be a trophy or achievement attached, but it was not.
It was absolutely
small price to pay.
Absolutely beautiful. Oh, one thing I'll note, and then we'll move on from Guardians, but I think the Mass Effect trilogy remastered coming out in the same year really was a good contrast point for Guardians of the Galaxy, because it made Guardians of the Galaxy really feel like that next-gen Mass Effect from a teammate, sort of playing dynamics. They absolutely nailed it.
Agreed.
And then our final nominee for Game of the Year, It Takes Two. My goodness, what a game.
Ooh, what a game. It's already taken out best playing game on this list for a very good reason. And Troy, like this game, look, we played, what was the other one? A Way Out.
A Way Out, yep.
Earlier this year or
Way
late
Out.
last year. And that game was phenomenal in terms of its co-op gameplay. But then It Takes Two just took it to another level with the interaction between the players to actually, to get stuff done. The graphics looked gorgeous. Like it was like you're literally playing like a version of, what's that movie where Honey, I Shrunk the Kids.
Yeah.
Like it's just a dream come true for I love that movie as a kid, and just playing this game just felt like that, and just these scenarios and the different biomes, we'll call them, and just like that game was much longer than I expected as well, and the fact that it never felt tired the whole way through.
Just constantly new gameplay styles. I know we've banged on it a bit, but it deserves to be mentioned how many different genres they crammed in there. It was phenomenal pacing. It was great. Front to back.
It was, and the fact now I think you can get the game on Game Pass as well. So the game's free, and then you've got. I think when we played it as well, you could your second
Friend
partner
Pass?
could get the game free as well, Friend Pass as well. So like to be such a good game and to be so accessible to so many players as well, I recommended this to my. Actually, I think it was my brother-in-law. He actually saw us playing it on YouTube and decided to play it with my sister, and they absolutely love this game as well. My sister's not a gamer at all, so which is such a testament to how good this game is that it can draw in people that aren't even gamers.
Yeah, 100%, man. That's a great point. Would you rather see next It Takes Two, or do you want to see him take on another jump from like the prison escape to the miniatures? Like, do you want to see him tackle something totally different, or do you want to revisit this world?
Something different.
Okay.
No, I want to see him do something different. I think the fact that we've had A Way Out, and that was such a good experience as well, to go to It Takes Two being even elevated on that. I don't know where you could go, whether it's more serious or more lighthearted, or a blend between the two. But I'm just excited to see what these guys can do. I don't think they need to deviate from their only co-op games as well. I think it's such a niche that you don't have. Like people might grow up and say, one of the best games that you have to have someone else to play with. But I think the fact that is how you have to play this game is part of its appeal, and why it's on this list is because it is better than any other game that does co-op.
And I think that speaks to as well how clear the director, and I'm blanking on his name, but his
we called him out last week.
It's right. Anyway, but his vision and leadership is so strong. Like the whole game, just front to back. He must have fought tooth and nail, marketing people telling him, no, don't do it. It's going to put people off.
Andy Tennant.
There you go. Phenomenal work. So whatever he does next, I'm keen. Sign me up.
Oh, absolutely. And they've got to be in production now. Like this game was when it came out early-ish in the year, didn't it?
Definitely first half. And I want to say March. I'm not sure though.
Yeah, it was very early, and I know it took us quite a while to get through it because, as I said, it is quite a long game and like such good value for money. I don't even need to say value for money because you don't even have to pay for it at the moment, which is ridiculous on Xbox Game Pass.
Yes.
But it already, just to mention, it did take out the Game Awards this year for Game of the Year as well. So it's obviously it was up against some stiff competition. There was no Returnal in that competition for whatever reason. That's another story. No, it absolutely deserved winner, and I'd give it any plaudit it needs to get because this is easily one of the best games that's come out this year.
Yeah, hands down, man. We've got 9 games on this list that all clearly deserved to be on the list. But where are we leaning, guys? I think it's no secret that I'm leaning towards Returnal. Steve, where are you pointing?
Mate, it's hard to not... I've had Returnal on my list as Game of the Year for pretty much since I platinumed the game, probably even before then.
Yeah.
Halo has been coming very close in the last few weeks just for how much fun I'm having playing that game. It's probably the most fun I've had play a video game for ages, and the fact that it is one of my favorite franchises of all time, it's up there as well. The only thing I could sort of knock against Halo is obviously some of the campaign stuff and the overuse of some of the inside interiors, which I don't really have a knock against Returnal apart from its difficulty, which I overcame. So that's not I can't knock it for its difficulty if I overcame it. So for me, Returnal probably sits over Halo for that.
Yes.
It Takes Two, again, something so different, something so unique, a gameplay experience that I had with you that we did on stream. Again, probably some of the most fun I've actually had playing a video game this year, and the fact that it did so much with story and gameplay and melding those two together, like they're probably my top 3, but I'm probably gonna have to go with Returnal.
Yes. Gaming Raptor, mate, what's grabbing you out of the 9 available?
Not really Resident Evil 8. I feel like I said this earlier, but Resident Evil games, I feel should be replayed. And there's only one Resident Evil game that I've played that made me replay it. Like that was Resident Evil 2
4?
remake. I replayed that like 4 different times.
I was guessing it was Resident Evil 4.
No, I haven't played that yet. Actually.
Oh, such a good game.
I know. I need to play it soon. But Resident Evil 7 was fun, but I never replayed it. And Resident Evil 3, never replayed it. And same goes with RE8. I played it once and just kind of put it down.
Yeah.
So I don't think Resident Evil 8. I honestly kind of thinking either Halo or Forza.
Yeah, fair
call. I'm going to have to go Halo because I haven't played that much Forza, but like I said, I think it'd be a very fun game just to chill.
Yeah.
And Spotify too and whatnot. But Halo, I feel like nailed the multiplayer. I had a lot of fun with the multiplayer. Of course, the playlists weren't there, so it kind of annoyed me a bit. But when it launched, I had little complaints with Halo multiplayer, and it's so good to see Halo back on top. And the campaign, good, is a good story. Honestly, Halo 5, garbage. But I'm glad that it kind of like forgets about that game and leans more towards Halo 4.
Yeah,
which Halo 4 was my favorite Halo game before Halo Infinite. So,
that's a good question, Steve. Your favorite Halo? Sorry, just a slight deviation.
I'm probably Halo 3 or Halo Reach before Infinite.
No, I'm including Infinite. Is it your winner?
Oh, Infinite. No, Infinite. In terms of campaigns, no, Halo Infinite's probably my favorite campaign I've played.
Yes, very good. I would agree completely. Sorry, Gaming Raptor, back to you, mate. I cut you off.
So, I think Halo is my pick for Game of the Year.
A great mention, mate. But once again, we come down to a split decision with both Steve and I suggesting, of course, Return.
I reckon we call Returnal Game of the. We're going to go Returnal Game of the Year and Halo not far behind. I think.
Oh, I don't know, man.
I played Returnal.
I would put a strong fight into slot Hitman 3 in as my number 2 personally. That game is the complete package. For me, for meticulous attention to detail people, that's a treat in itself.
Beautiful, mate. Now, the fact, so we're going Game of the Year Returnal. Is that Geek Aloud's Game of the Year?
Locked in. It's locked in. I'm making it red in the document. That's how you know it's official.
All right, now, Troy, given the fact we've done that, I'm going to read out a little rap review / rhyme review I did for Returnal before I even finished the game, before I platinum the game, if you don't mind.
Please, Steve, the floor is yours.
All right, so Geek Aloud, rap review, rhyme review for Returnal. Let's go. Game of the Year. Live, die, repeat. No, this isn't Tom Cruise. This game has an astronaut and a strange worlds to peruse. To describe this game, I have one thing to say. It is Dark Souls hard, but in a good way. You see, trying means dying and dying again. I still can't make it to the very end. I'm in Biome 3 and have been for some time, but I'm not going to sit here and complain and whine. You'll have some great runs and sometimes beat a boss, but even when you die, not all is a loss. New patterns you'll learn and the better you'll get, but even your best run, your demise could be met. If you think this sounds fun, then you just might be right, because shooting aliens in the face feels hella tight. These guys made Next Machina, Matterfall, and Resogun, but Returnal is their best and their most fun. If you want a game that rewards you for dying, just buy this game. It's more than worth trying.
I love it, Steve. We have to put that to music one day, man. That's awesome.
We will, mate. I'll rewrite it in the fact that I've actually got the platinum now. But at the time of writing that review, the fact that I thought this game was even in the running for Game of the Year, having only been in Biome 3, speaks so much for this game and how good it is and the fact that it is our Game of the Year. So well done, Returnal.
I would be tempted not to update that, Steve, because that really feels like a time capsule for Biome 3, and I really like that flavour to it. I don't think you need to rewrite it, man. We just need to drop a beat behind it.
Perfect. Well, let's give it a crack, eh?
Beautiful. All right, that is it for the standoff. What a deliberation that was. Phenomenal. Thank you for sticking with us as we worked our way through it. Now, Steve, of course, we are up to the game, to the audience interrogation segment. Have we got much chatter? Is there anything you can let me know about?
Let's have a look. Well, I know Sean Games, and I believe Gaming Rector himself was in there earlier as well.
Hey, perfect.
Let me have a look. We've mentioned that Gamer Rector has Halo Infinite is king, which has come to his game of the year. So that's obviously no surprise there. And I think they were talking about when they said best sequel ever, Gaming Raptor. If you can elaborate, I'm pretty sure you were talking about I Expect You to Die 2, maybe.
Oh yes.
No, I was talking about the tourist video that was being.
Beautiful. I love it. It was pretty good. Just if you want to rate my James Bond, how would you give that out of 10?
10 out of 10.
Oh, beautiful. Well, you finished the year on a high.
Are you going to package that up and send it off to MGM? I believe they're recasting Bond for the next film. Steve,
they are recasting Bond, yeah. I believe I could be up for a chance. So let's package it up. Troy, let's send it off, see how we go.
I'll make it happen. What
else have we got?
Well, hold on. I've got one from during the week I received, Steve. I can throw out while you fetch backwards up through the chat there. Open to yourself and Gaming Raptor. The question is there a must-play Christmas game that you guys are aware of?
As in releasing in Christmas based on Christmas?
Oh, no, I'm saying, it comes to this end of the, Christmas, this end of the year, I should say, the Christmas break. Is there a game you sort of traditionally go to? It doesn't have to be Christmas themed, but is there a game that every Christmas, I'm firing this one back up?
For me, I'm going to just jump in quickly and just say the one for me, and I had to do it earlier this month, was Ocarina of Time.
Okay.
On the Nintendo, I still remember to this day playing Nintendo 64, getting Ocarina of Time for Christmas, and the smell of the Christmas tree, sitting in front of the TV playing that game. And I set my Christmas tree up at the start of December, and I just had to go backwards compatibility on the Switch and play Ocarina of Time. It was only for like 5 minutes, but the fact that I was just playing Ocarina of Time with that smell on my TV, it just was Christmas to me. So, like, if you want it's something nostalgic, that's fine. If you're someone my or Troy's age, then that's fine. There's probably newer games out there, which Gaming Raptor can probably speak better towards than I can.
How about you, Gaming Raptor? Is there a game that you like to get hold of every year, sort of this time of year? Is there something that calls to you?
There's actually 2 games that I go back to.
What are they?
The first one is Spider-Man PlayStation 4.
Yes.
Before Doom Eternal came around, Spider-Man PlayStation 4 was my favorite game of all time.
Yeah, great.
I have like 100 hours in Spider-Man PlayStation 4. And
Gaming Raptor, you're man of my own heart. That's all I'm playing at the moment is Spider-Man PS4 / on the PS5 now. I'm just unlocking with the new suits from the new movie as well. Oh my god.
They look cool.
And game number 2,
and
mate?
the other one is Watch Dogs 1. That game, I didn't like it at first, but when I came back to it and finished it, it just became a bit of a favorite to me. So like every year I come back to it and play it for a bit. Sometimes I finish the game, but I don't know. Watch Dogs 1 is a favorite of mine now. So yeah.
Nice one. For me, I only have a tradition that just started this week, but I can see me doing it years moving forward. If you play, now I'm blanking on the level, but Hitman 3 has an escalation that if you play through it to the end, you unlock the Santa suit for Hitman, so you can start any level in the Santa suit, which to me, every Christmas I'm going to start playing Hitman 3, just going around as Santa, killing my targets. I think that's phenomenal.
Love it.
Nothing says the Christmas spirit like assassinating people.
Nothing says Christmas spirit like murder.
Here's your Christmas gift. Death. Sweet release death.
Steve, were you able to find any more questions for us, mate, in the YouTube chat?
I think that's about it. I think so. We have. We've gone on pretty long tonight, so we'll probably leave it at that.
Indeed, it has been a marathon show. Gaming Raptor, mate, big thanks to you for making yourself available at the wee hours of the morning. Thank you very much for sticking in there, mate. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem. I really like doing these streams with you. It's fun and very entertaining. So yeah, if you ever want to do this again, just let me know. I'll see if I can.
Be our pleasure.
100%, mate. It will be awesome. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Is there anything I've forgotten? Yes, I had to say that the Tourist will go live. As soon as this stream ends, I'm going to jump up and the Tourist itself will go live. So you can check that one out again there if you so choose. Other than that, that's going to do it for this week and for this year for the Gaming Enforcement Agency. We will be back in January. We're not sure just when yet. It'll be one of the Mondays. I think there's only 4 of them. We'll be sure to let you know, though. So that's it. Steve, thank you very much, mate. Gaming Raptor, thank you. All the
My pleasure. Unky Dunky signing off for 2021. We'll see you in the new year. Everyone have a Merry Christmas.
Good work, James Bond. Thank you, mate. Thank you, everyone out there. Remember, like it, subscribe it. You'll never miss it. If I can find my end button. I don't think it's on here. There it is. Like and subscribe. You'll never. Oh, that was luck. Hey, that's not it. I love everything about it. Ooh. Old Uncle Donkey.
Donkey.